Chapter 1916. It was common for passengers to take the wrong train midway, and it happened every month. They could only blame themselves for being careless and could not blame anyone else. In order to make his role more suitable, Wen Xiao could only use an unreasonable attitude. I went all the way to the big city to see my son, and now I have to go home. I clearly bought a ticket to Huaishi, but now I'm in Xinjiang. What do you want me to do? Wen Xiao refused to admit his fault. You have to take responsibility for this. You have to drive me back to Huaishi now. The train attendant really had no way to deal with such an old man. He could not be scolded or persuaded. This was the most difficult type of person to deal with. I say, old man, it's useless even if you make a fuss. We really can't control you today. After all, the driver was a man, so he spoke with confidence. You got on the wrong car because you didn't have eyes. We didn't put you on the bus. If you continue to be unreasonable, I'll call the police and let the police wait for you at the exit of the highway. If you have anything to say, tell the police and let them help you resolve it. Is that okay? Are you trying to scare me? The police are the police. I'm really not afraid of the police. Is this all my fault? Don't you have the obligation to remind me not to get on the wrong train? Wen Xiao also became spirited. Since you've said so, let's talk to the police. As the driver drove, he stretched his neck and shouted behind him. Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's let everyone in the car be the judge. As long as the police say it's my fault, I'll go to jail. If the police say it's your fault, you'll go to jail? How about it? The driver felt that Wen Xiao was just an old man from the countryside who did not have much experience, so he thought that he could scare him in such a way. A rural old man would definitely not dare to continue arguing with him. Okay, it's settled then. I want to see who the police will send to jail. As Wen Xiao spoke, he made himself appear a little guilty. All right. Old mister, don't be angry. If they really arrest you, you won't be able to return home. How about this? We won't let you buy a ticket to Xinjiang. We'll take you to buy a ticket from Xinjiang to Huaishi. That way, you'll get home quickly. Don't get on the wrong train again. The flight attendant acted as a peacemaker. Don't. If he wants to bet with me, then so be it. I definitely won't go to jail. The driver continued to threaten him. The other passengers could see that the two of them were singing the same tune. They cooperated very well. It was indeed a good way to deal with such unreasonable people. Wen Xiao was angry and did not say anything. Everyone guessed that he was guilty. Seeing that they were about to get off the highway, the driver asked proudly, Sir, we're about to get off the highway. Should we still call the police? Wen Xiao, of course, had to act stubbornly. Fight. Of course I'll fight. Otherwise, what are you going to do? All right. The driver smiled. He didn't plan to really hit him. He just wanted to scare him. However, when he was about to drive off the highway, he saw police lights flashing. It seemed like they were checking the car. Checking the car so early in the morning? Oh, what's going on here? Seeing the police, the driver wanted to scare the old man who got on the wrong bus. All right, there's no need to call. There's a traffic jam in front. They're checking the car. There's a police officer. Let's go and judge later. The bus drove off the highway toll and started to line up for the check. Wen Xiao suddenly stood up. I want to pee. Sir, it's a public place. Please mind your words. The attendant said, If you're going to the bathroom, do you see the police room over there? There seems to be one behind. Don't do it by the roadside. I'm already so old. I know shame. Wen Xiao glared at the attendant. The driver opened the door for him. He didn't forget to remind him. Come back quickly after you're done. Let's talk to the police. Wen Xiao snorted and walked to the bathroom behind the police room without looking back. The people on the bus went directly to the police room. The police at the scene didn't care. After all, if it was a criminal, no one would dare to go to the police room. Wouldn't that be walking into a trap? Soon it was the bus's turn to be checked. Wen Xiao hadn't returned yet. The police got on the bus and started to check the tickets. They started to check the number of people. Because Wen Xiao wasn't there, it was just right. The check was over, but Wen Xiao still hadn't appeared. The bus driver and the attendant were a little surprised. It's over. The old man probably ran away. because he was afraid that he would be blamed for getting on the wrong bus. AI, this ignorant person is really scary. The bus driver and the attendant shook their heads helplessly. Let him be. If he really couldn't go home, he would call the police and ask for help. Anyway, he wasn't a passenger on their bus. He wasn't an ignorant child. The bus roared away. Wen Xiao had already sneaked away from the back of the police room. Although his disguise was perfect, it was better to be careful when facing so many police officers. Safety first. If he was stopped by so many police officers on the spot, it would be troublesome. Wen Xiao didn't want his mission to end before it even started. He didn't want to be the one to die before he had even achieved his goal. It wasn't easy to travel. Wen Xiao spent 3 days to get to Xinjiang. It was already the 4th morning after he left Yinjing. The air in Xinjiang was the same as in Yinjing. There wasn't any fresh air early in the morning. After Wen Xiao's national arrest warrant was issued, Qin Wan was very nervous. A few days ago, when she went to Qingdao to visit Su Yin and Guogua, she happened to run into Wen Xiao. She also heard about Wen Xiao's situation from Chou Yun. Didn't he turn over a new leaf? Didn't Su Yin persuade him to turn over a new leaf? Why did this guy become a complete wanted criminal in just a few days? Moreover, this guy knew about Guogua's background. This was definitely something that Qin Wan was worried about. Damn it, Su Yin shouldn't have saved this kind of person. He should have let him know what it meant to bring evil upon oneself. Now, after saving him, everyone was in danger. Even the country was in danger. What kind of secret did this guy get? Deputy Bureau Chief Qin? Deputy Bureau Chief Qin? After being called several times, Qin Wan suddenly came back to her senses. She embarrassedly said to everyone, "I'm sorry everyone. I'm thinking about the wanted criminal Wen Xiao. I've seen him before not long ago." Hearing Qin Wan's words, everyone was shocked. The Xinjiang police force had undergone a huge change of personnel some time ago. Many people in positions of power and authority were accused. Some were temporarily suspended from investigations, and some had already resigned. Therefore, the internal affairs of the Xinjiang police force were quite complicated. Qin Wan's superior had resigned and been investigated. Therefore, the whole Xinjiang police was basically decided by Qin Wan and the other 2 deputy bureau chiefs. "You've seen this wanted criminal?" Hearing Qin Wan's words, Deputy Bureau Chief Zheng Yun, who had just been promoted, was stunned. "This is not something to joke about." Qin Wan said lightly, "Of course I know what can be joked about and what can't. This Wen Xiao has a nickname One Eye. His background is very special. He is an all-around soldier. Later, because of some things, he betrayed his country and fled to Southeast Asia to join a mercenary group. He also established the famous One Eye mercenary group. He is also a fearsome figure in Southeast Asia. So powerful." Some people were surprised. "Bureau Chief Qin, how do you know?" "I only know, and the information is accurate. Because not long ago, this guy did something that was about to turn over a new leaf." Qin Wan said. It seems that this guy didn't want to turn over a new leaf. Instead, he used an illusion to deceive the trust of the state's secret department, and then stole the state's secrets. Zheng Yun looked at Qin Wan in surprise. "How do you know all these things?" "This is a long story," Qin Wan said. "In short, we must be careful. Once we confirm that this Wen Xiao has entered our Xinjiang city, we must take him down. We must not let him do anything evil." Yes, everyone patted their chests and promised. This matter must not be taken lightly. This was an S-level wanted criminal. If they took him down, it would be a great merit. Let all the special police and armed police prepare for battle. Everyone in the police station enters the alert period. Cancel all holidays and rest days. Qin Wan was still as swift and decisive when doing things. Chapter 1917. Zheng Yin was stunned. Deputy Bureau Chief Qin, Huaxia is so big. The possibility of Wen Xiao escaping to Xinjiang is not high. There is no need to cancel all the holidays now. The police are also human and need to rest. If we are sure that the guy has escaped to Xinjiang, it will not be too late for us to make plans. It will be too late by then. If we can catch him as soon as he sneaks into Xinjiang, it will save us a lot of trouble. Qin Wan'er said, Zheng Yun, I hope you can cooperate with my work. This was what Zheng Yun was most unhappy about. Although he was promoted to the position of deputy bureau chief later, Qin Wan'er had only been the deputy bureau chief for a few days, right? However, Qin Wan'er always called him by his name and never used the word bureau chief. Moreover, when most of the people in the police station called Qin Wan'er, they would swallow the word deputy in deputy bureau chief Qin. It was as if they all knew that Qin Wan'er would be promoted to the position of chief sooner or later. When they called him, they would always use the word deputy. Therefore, every time Zheng Yun spoke to Qin Wan'er, he would emphasize the word deputy, in order to let others know that she was also a deputy. Everyone was a deputy. What he did not expect was that Qin Wan'er was even more ruthless. Every time she called him by his name, it seemed that she did not put him, the deputy bureau chief, in her eyes at all. Zheng Yun absolutely did not have a good impression of Qin Wan'er. He only hoped that he could have a chance to step on Qin Wan'er. He wanted to use a huge contribution to prove that his ability was better than Qin Wan'er's. However, this kind of opportunity was really too rare. Moreover, Zheng Yun was not very active usually. Many things were done when he was forced to do them. Just like today, when he heard that his holiday was cancelled, he felt unhappy. The weekend was his favorite time of the week. At the same time, Qin Wan'er really looked down on Zheng Yun. She called him by his name intentionally, because Qin Wan'er felt that Zheng Yun did not deserve to be the deputy bureau chief. This was because he was too lazy and had no sense of responsibility. He was muddle-headed every day and did not know what a police officer's responsibility was. Previously, when he was in the Human Resource Office, it was considered an idle position. If he liked to be muddle-headed, then so be it. Qin Wan'er would not say anything about him. After all, he relied on relationships to get in. In Huaxiao's current society, every unit, every place, no matter if it was a public institution or a business unit, no matter if it was a state-owned enterprise or a private enterprise, there would always be connections in these kinds of idle positions. This was unavoidable and unavoidable. Qin Wan'er could tolerate these situations. After all, she was no longer the impulsive young girl who had just stepped out of her house. She had learned to adapt to all kinds of situations in society. But what Qin Wan'er couldn't stand was that this guy who relied on connections was promoted to deputy director. He didn't know what the higher-ups were thinking. Such a person sitting in this position couldn't do anything meaningful. It would only be a waste of a position. Moreover, he would prevent capable people from getting the space to develop and occupy the stage for capable people to display their skills. This was what Qin Wan'er couldn't stand. Some people could see that the two of them were not on good terms. But after all, they were colleagues. Qin Wan'er hoped that she could use her own actions to change Zheng Yun's way of doing things. If he could work seriously and do well in this position, Qin Wan'er would not look down on him because he relied on relationships to get promoted. Zheng Yun, this case threatens the safety and stability of our entire society. Qin Wan'er said, We are all people's police. Since we have chosen this profession, we have to be worthy of the police uniform we wear. Deputy Director Qin, you don't have to talk about big principles. I'm not a child. I understand. Cancel your leave. Cancel it. Don't be idle. Go find him on the road and catch him. When Zheng Yun said this, he was somewhat angry. Everyone, open your eyes wide. Whoever catches him will get a promotion and a raise. Everyone, do your best. Promotion and a raise were out of the question. Many people now wanted to know how likely this S-level wanted criminal would come to Xinjiang. Director Qin, you want us to make preparations so early. Based on your understanding, this Wen Xiao will definitely come to Xinjiang, right? Qin Wan'er did not know how to answer this question. She thought for a while. I do have my own analysis. I really feel that there is an 80% chance that he will come to Xinjiang. Deputy Director Qin, 80%? Why do I feel that even 8% is impossible? Zheng Yun said. Think about it from another perspective. If we were such a person and caused so much trouble in Yanjing, where would we go? I feel that I would go to a remote county in the northwest to hide. Or I would run to the border and continue being a mercenary leader. To be honest, Zheng Yun's words did make sense. In fact, it really did make sense. Many people agreed with his point. They felt that it was almost impossible for Wen Xiao to come to Xinjiang. I don't think so. I feel that someone as capable as Wen Xiao would not be willing to hide in a remote town in the northwest. He would definitely go to an international metropolis to seek his opportunity. Qin Wan'er said. In Huaxia, such an international metropolis can only be found in 3 places. He can't stay in Yanjing, and Guangshan is too far away. He needs to cross the entire Huaxia. With the S-level wanted criminal in the country, it would be difficult for him to run that far. After pausing for a while, Qin Wan'er continued, so I feel that he will choose Xinjiang. Xinjiang is an international metropolis, and it is also near the sea. If he is really forced into a corner, he will have a way to escape. After all, any route can be sealed off, except for the sea route. If he hides in a small county, it will be easier to be surrounded and sealed off. Everyone thought about it again. Qin Wan'er's words were very reasonable. Indeed, an S-level wanted criminal definitely had the ability to survive in a metropolis. He also had the ability to find a way out in a metropolis and seek more opportunities. If that's the case, our opinions are different. Chief Zhang, who do you think is more reasonable? After Zhang Yun finished speaking, he looked at Zhang Guoping. He was now an old deputy chief in the police station. He was not investigated this time because he kept a low profile and did not participate in any power or money transactions. However, this person could not be promoted because of this. The deputy chief was only in name. He was responsible for the things that had the least real power. Ha ha ha, I think what you said is reasonable. Zhang Guoping was a good person. No matter who said something to him, he would say yes. He absolutely did not have his own opinion. In the face of the dispute between Qin Wan'er and Zheng Yun, Zhang Guoping just smiled. He did not offend anyone. This was his character. Chief Zhang, I also think that you should say your opinion, Qin Wan'er also said. The two of them addressed Zhang Guoping as Director Zhang. Obviously, the two of them didn't dislike Zhang Guoping. Although he didn't do much, he didn't do anything excessive, and he wouldn't have any contrary opinions. Naturally, he wouldn't be disliked by others. I really think that what you said is very reasonable. Zhang Guoping said. If I were Wen Xiao, I would have the ability to escape from a place like Yanjing. I would not be afraid of going anywhere. I would have the ability to escape again no matter where I go. Do you too think that this is reasonable? Phew, it was really reasonable. However, although Zhang Guoping's words were very reasonable, why did they feel that there was no meaning at all? It was equivalent to saying nothing. This was Zhang Guoping's greatest ability as a person. He could say things as if they were not said at all. He did not offend anyone, and he also expressed his opinion, so that people had nothing to say to him. Although Qin Wan'er and Zheng Yun were helpless, they did not ask for Zhang Guoping's opinion. They both knew that the opinions they asked for were useless nonsense. This kind of thing, I am old. My brain can't think about it. You young people have better brains. Zhang Guoping said. Think about it carefully. What should you do? I absolutely support your work. Absolutely support, ha. Qin Wan'er smiled slightly and nodded to Zhang Guoping. Then she said to everyone, then we will take precautions. No matter what, our Xinjiang is an international metropolis. We must absolutely avoid this kind of danger. We have to prepare in advance. Okay, you have the final say, Zheng Yun said with a bit of anger. Then we will all prepare. Listen to Deputy Chief Qin. Go to your posts and work hard. Chapter 1918. After everyone received the order, they all returned to their posts. Everyone was fully prepared for their mission in this operation. Different posts had different responsibilities. Everyone took Qin Wan'er's words to heart. They had to kill Wen Xiao as soon as he entered Xinjiang. This was the only way to ensure Xinjiang's absolute safety. Moreover, this was definitely the best time to catch Wen Xiao. Once Wen Xiao entered Xinjiang's urban area, he would be integrated with the tens of millions of people in Xinjiang. It would not be easy to investigate. People who had this idea all agreed with Qin Wan'er's judgment. An international city with the highest population density in the country was definitely safer than a small county with less than 100,000 people. This was the unified idea of these people who wanted to take precautions. As for those who thought that Zheng Yun's idea was correct, their actions were naturally not as active. This was because they did not believe that Wen Xiao, a wanted criminal, would come to Xinjiang to cause trouble. They were just cooperating. They had to do this because of their profession. If anyone makes a mistake in Wen Xiao's matter, I'm sorry, but Qin Wan will definitely make him take off his police uniform. Qin Wan-er's words woke up all the people who were dealing with work. She directly aroused everyone's enthusiasm for work. Zheng Yun felt that Qin Wan-er was indirectly scolding him, but he really did not dare to refute. If he refuted, he would admit that he was the one who was scolded by Qin Wan-er. He would not stupidly stand out and accept the scolding in front of so many people. Zheng Yun, come over here. Come to my office. After Qin Wan-er finished speaking, she directly stood up and raised her voice. Everyone, promise me that your phone will not be turned off for 24 hours. If you can't guarantee it, go to the electronic city and buy a few more power banks. After that, Qin Wan-er directly turned and left the conference room, heading to her office. Zheng Yun's face was embarrassed. He was definitely the kind of person who turned off his phone after work. Therefore, Qin Wan-er's words were definitely directed at him. Good. Zheng Yun sneered. He wanted to see what Qin Wan-er could do to him. Let's go. The two of them walked to Qin Wan-er's office one after the other. Zheng Yun closed the door of Qin Wan-er's office as soon as he entered and locked the door. Zheng Yun, what do you mean? Qin Wan-er frowned. It's better not to lock the door. It will easily cause misunderstandings. Oh, you're still worried about causing a misunderstanding? You asked me to come to your office in front of everyone, Zheng Yun said. If everyone had misunderstood, they would have misunderstood long ago. They wouldn't misunderstand just because I locked the door. Qin Wan-er felt helpless in her heart, but she was not afraid of a crooked shadow. She also did not care about other people's thoughts. All right, no matter who it is, they will misunderstand. That's right. Let it be a misunderstanding. It doesn't matter, Zheng Yun said. Both of us are unmarried. We're both at an appropriate age, so it's normal for us to have some emotional disputes between men and women. Qin Wan-er didn't expect Zheng Yun to be like this. She opened the drawer and took out a power bank. She threw it to Zheng Yun and said, Okay, I have nothing else to talk to you about. You can leave now. There's definitely no problem with this charger. It's fully charged. 20,000 milliamperes is definitely enough to charge a few mobile phones. Zheng Yun took the power bank and snorted. He knew that Qin Wan-er would stop him from finding excuses to turn off his phone. Deputy Bureau Chief Qin, are you going to give me this? Is there anything else? Zheng Yun said. Let's talk about Wen Xiao again. Qin Wan-er said to Zheng Yun very seriously. If you really want to talk about Wen Xiao, I can really talk to you. I believe that when you realize how scary this person is, you will support and cooperate with my decision. No. I will cooperate and support now. How can I not cooperate and support? Zheng Yun said. Maybe after this, you will be directly promoted to the position of bureau chief. At that time, I will be working under you. I hope that Bureau Chief Qin will take care of me. Qin Wan-er finally realized Zheng Yun's real thoughts. Not only did he think that Wen Xiao would not come to Xinjiang, but he also didn't want Xinjiang to have a big case. This was not for the peaceful life of the people in Xinjiang, but because he was worried that Qin Wan-er would make a great contribution again, and really be promoted. If that happened, Zheng Yun would not be able to continue working in Xinjiang. Zheng Yun, we are colleagues. We should all contribute to our duties. Qin Wan-er said, You think too much. You really think too much. What I want is not credit, and I don't care about this kind of credit. I just don't want any harm to come to the city that we are protecting. Zheng Yun snorted. Our city has been hurt a lot. I have never seen you put in so much effort like today. Qin Wan-er walked forward coldly and opened the locked office door. She said, Everything has a priority. This is the country's S-level wanted criminal. We must put our work first. If there is nothing else, I think you should go back to your own work. Zheng Yun didn't say anything and directly strode away. What the hell was the priority? Wasn't it just because the credit for this matter was bigger? Could it let you get promoted more? The unsatisfactory work made Qin Wan really unhappy. If she really had the power to transfer Zheng Yin, it would be great. She really didn't want to work with such an unmotivated guy. Moreover, this guy's position was the same as hers, so she couldn't do anything. Just when Qin Wan was upset, she received a call from the security room at the entrance of the police station. Bureau Chief Qin, there is an outsider looking for you. He said that he is your friend. What is his name? Qin Wan didn't want to bring some personal matters to the office to deal with. If it was someone looking for her for personal matters, she would basically let the security guard refuse, saying that she was in a meeting and asking him to wait until after work. The security room looked at Su Yun's registration information and said, "His name is Su Yun." Oh my god. Qin Wan was stunned. Su Yun. She really couldn't believe it. She directly ran to the window of her office. From there, she could see the entrance of the police station. Su Yun and his black Qian directly reflected in Qin Wan's eyes. Let him in. Qin Wan needed Su Yun too much now. It seemed that Su Yun also came because of Wen Zhao's matter. Phew, as long as Su Yun came, Qin Wan would have a backbone for this matter. She wouldn't be as clueless as she was now. Hearing that Bureau Chief Qin was so excited, the security room naturally had a whole new level of respect for Su Yun. Generally speaking, goddess-like girls would only express their excitement to the man that they liked. Maybe this man was Bureau Chief Qin's Prince Charming. After Su Yun received approval, he directly drove into the police station's courtyard. After parking his car, he immediately went upstairs to find Qin Wan. A few brothers who had seen Su Yun and remembered him clearly all greeted Su Yun. After all, the big case of Yi Fala was solved by Su Yun. He also gave the credit of catching Yonghe, a drug lord, to the police of Xinjiang. Therefore, most of the police of Xinjiang were very friendly to Su Yun. This didn't include Zheng Yin. Zheng Yin was a very jealous person. Back then, when Su Yun had become the hero of their bureau, he had expressed his dislike for Su Yun and would often say some sarcastic words. Su Yun went straight to Qin Wan's office. After Qin Wan saw Su Yun, she was very excited. She didn't even care that this was a unit's office. She gave Su Yun a big hug. Luckily you came. Wan, you all saw Wen Zhao's arrest warrant, right? After Su Yun closed the door to Qin Wan's room, he went straight to the point. Qin Wan nodded vigorously. She was worried about this matter now. Did you come to Xinjiang for this matter? Su Yun nodded and looked around. Then he said to Qin Wan, it's not convenient to talk here. Come out with me. I have some personal matters to discuss with you. Qin Wan was stunned. It was her principle to not talk about personal matters during work. However, Qin Wan quickly read Su Yun's meaning from his gaze. The walls have ears. Okay, I'll pack up and leave with you immediately. Qin Wan nodded and turned off her computer. Then, she called the office director and explained her situation. She wanted to go out with a friend and asked him to call her if there was any situation. The office director agreed to Qin Wan's request very quickly. After Qin Wan got into Su Yun's car and left the police station, some people began to gossip. Zheng Yin said in front of many people, "Did you see that? She said it so nicely. Everyone be on alert. Everyone's holidays are cancelled. Everyone can't turn off their phones for 24 hours. It's still working hours. She went out on a date with a man. What is this?" Under Zheng Yun's instigation, some people began to be unhappy. Only the officials are allowed to set fires, but not the common people. Just when a group of people were angry, Zhang Guoping appeared. Do what you should do. Don't gossip. Chapter 1919. In fact, Zhang Guoping was very clear that Zheng Yin was the only one in the bureau who dared to talk nonsense in public. No one else dared to say anything about Qin Wan. Moreover, the positions of the entire bureau were somewhat one-sided. Now there were 3 deputy directors in the bureau. Zhang Guoping was the one who was least favored. At his age, there was really no room for improvement. He would retire in a few years. It was impossible for him to have any big promotion. Qin Wan was a person who had continuously made great contributions when she came to Xinjiang. The speed of her promotion was like taking a plane. At first, many people thought that she had a considerable background. However, after a long time, everyone knew that she relied on her strength. Therefore, they admired and respected Qin Wan. They absolutely had reason to believe that Qin Wan could soar to the sky and become a dragon or phoenix among men. As for Zheng Yun, in fact, many people knew that he did not have any ability. However, no one could ignore one thing. He had connections and connections. This was ability. In this society where connections are irrelevant, a person's greatest asset was often connections. As long as the connections were in place, nothing was a problem. Not to mention the institutions that belonged to the state, even small private enterprises were like this. A person with a strong connection could be a leader no matter how useless he was. If he had no connections, he could be an employee no matter how strong his ability was. This kind of thing was too common. Therefore, there were still some people who thought that Zheng Yun would win in the end. It was not because of his ability but because of his strong connections. A strong connection could change everything. Just like Zheng Yun being promoted to deputy director, no one expected it. For example, in this big investigation, Zheng Yun was not suspended and taken away by the investigation team. This surprised many people because everyone knew that he had a good relationship with the director. The director was taken away for investigation, but nothing happened to him. This was really unbelievable. Therefore, the whole bureau spread that Zheng Yun's connections were more powerful than their directors. Therefore, nothing happened to him. Although Zheng Yun's side was weak now and there were not many people who supported him, as long as they supported him, they were not afraid of trouble. Once Zheng Yun said something about Qin Wan, these people would follow and start to spread rumors. Although Zhang Guoping did not have many supporters, he was still a deputy director. His words still had some influence. He did not want the bureau to spread rumors, so when he heard some rumors, he would speak out to stop it. However, this did not mean that he supported Qin Wan and opposed Zheng Yun. When Zheng Yun heard Zhang Guoping speak, he smiled. Chief Zhang, this is something that everyone knows. I'm really not spouting nonsense. Seeing that Zhang Guoping had no reason to retort, Zheng Yun continued. We just finished a meeting. They said that we have to focus on our work, protect Xinjiang's safety, and kill that wanted criminal in the cradle. What about now? She turned around and ran away with a man. All right, let's talk less. It's not good to talk too much about some things. Zhang Guoping didn't want to get himself involved in this topic, so he quickly waved his hand and left. If he couldn't stop these people from talking nonsense, he would definitely leave as soon as possible so that he wouldn't be dragged down. This was Zhang Guoping's style, and also the reason why he was only a deputy director in his entire life. Zheng Yun looked at Zhang Guoping's departing figure and smiled helplessly. Qin Wan was brought directly to Xingkai Hotel by Su Yin. Before Su Yin came, he had already called Yi Fala and asked her to prepare a quiet room. It would be best if there was no one around. Yi Fala didn't need to prepare at all. Xingkai Hotel had always prepared a long-term suite for Su Yin. He could stay there at any time. Yi Fala told Su Yin the room number. When she heard that Su Yin came alone, she immediately prepared champagne and wine and waited in the room for Su Yin's arrival. She didn't expect Su Yin to bring Qin Wan here directly. Yi Fala's attractiveness, wine and beauty made Qin Wan a little stunned. She didn't know what Su Yin was doing. Su Yin certainly didn't expect Yi Fala to do this, so he was a little caught off guard. "Ha, you're here. Director Qin must have been working hard recently. I've prepared champagne for you. You guys chat, I'm going to work." Yi Fala was the first to break the awkwardness. After all, this awkwardness was created by her. Although she had been smiling, only she knew what she was thinking in her heart. Qin Wan was embarrassed by this politeness. "This is too much trouble, Sister Yi Fala. I just came to talk to Su Yin. It's still working hours, so I can't drink." "It's okay. I'll get someone to bring you some coffee and tea." Yi Fala finished speaking and got ready to leave. Without waiting for Qin Wan to thank her, Su Yin spoke first. "Thank you, but don't let anyone come first. I want to talk to Wan about some private matters. There's no one in the room next door, right?" Yi Fala smiled. "Why are you being so tactful with me? Don't worry, this is definitely your private space." There's no one living on this floor. Besides, don't you believe that my room is soundproof? Even if someone lives next door, they won't be able to hear your voice. Chinwana heard and blushed. She understood Yi Fala's meaning. Sister Yi Fala, don't misunderstand. We're really talking about work. Yeah, don't misunderstand. I'm really here to talk about work. Suyin also realized that his actions could easily cause misunderstandings. Yi Fala, let's have lunch together later. Wait for us for a while. Yi Fala smiled and nodded. And I misunderstood. I thought too much. Hehe, you guys take your time. I'll wait for you. After Yi Fala left, Chinwan blushed and said, Suyun, what are you doing? You even opened a room with champagne. Anyone who sees this will misunderstand. Also, I feel that I shouldn't have come with you. The champagne I prepared was prepared for the two of you. Stop, I called you here to talk to you about serious matters. Don't interrupt, Suyun said. Let's put these things aside and not get distracted. Chinwan quickly returned to the main topic. What's the situation with Wen Xiao? Wan. Every word I say to you today can only be known by you alone. You can't reveal it to anyone else. Suyun said. You have to promise me. I promise. Chinwan rolled her eyes at Suyun. You don't even trust me? Suyun smiled. Of course, it's not that I don't trust you. It's just that this matter is very important. I have to explain it to you clearly. Otherwise, if you accidentally reveal it, it might ruin things. Okay, I promise. Say it. What's the situation with Wen Xiao? Chinwan nodded seriously. Suyun took a deep breath and lowered his voice to the lowest. Actually, Wen Xiao is here to find a way to go undercover. All these wanted orders are fake. It's to cooperate with his work. After he said this, Chinwan was stunned. Undercover? Making such a big move just to let him go undercover? Who do you want to investigate? Oh, I understand. This must be coming to our Xinjiang. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come to find me. Lower your voice. Suyun quickly signaled Chinwan to not be shocked. Chapter 1920. This news obviously made Chinwan excited. Wen Xiao didn't betray Suyun again, nor did he betray the country again. For Wen Xiao to be undercover, it obviously wasn't a small case. If it was just to deal with an ordinary criminal gang, it would be a waste of talent to arrange for Wen Xiao to be undercover. If I didn't guess wrongly, it is to let Wen Xiao undercover to investigate the criminal evidence of the Jutsai group, right? The first investigation target that Chinwan could think of was the Jutsai group. Suyun nodded. It seems that you also know some things. I am relieved. The Jutsai group was nominally doing investment and financial management projects, but the police were very clear that their so-called investment and financial management projects were just a means for them to launder money. What they really did was some smuggling business, and the smuggled goods were absolutely prohibited illegal goods. Moreover, the Jutsai group had a sauna center called Tiangong No. 1. This sauna center was a special service place that everyone in Xinjiang knew. Therefore, the Jutsai group was involved in all kinds of things. Violence, terror, prostitution, gambling, and drugs. There was nothing that they didn't dare to touch. But even if it was something that everyone knew, it was meaningless if there was no evidence. The police paid attention to evidence, and the Jutsai group did all of this very carefully. Moreover, the Jutsai group's control of the police's information was also shocking. No matter when the police wanted to conduct a surprise investigation on the Jutsai group, they could always deal with it easily. Obviously, there were people in the police who were involved in colluding with the Jutsai group. But after many investigations, the police couldn't determine who was colluding with the Jutsai group. Just some time ago, a few people with high authority in the police were involved in a storm, and several people were taken away for investigation. Originally, the Xinjiang police thought that they would definitely get some evidence if they conducted a surprise investigation on the Jutsai group. But in the end there was still no result. They didn't get any evidence at all, and it made the Jutsai group even more vigilant. Chinwan was having a headache about this matter. She had almost exhausted all of her energy, but she still couldn't find any evidence of the Jutsai group's crimes. Not to mention the smuggling, Even the Tiangong No. 1 in Xinjiang never let the police find any evidence of their organization's prostitution activities. Qin Wan'er had put in a lot of effort to investigate the Jutsai group. There were at least hundreds of young and beautiful girls in the No. 1 Heavenly Palace Leisure Sauna Club. They all had the title of sauna technicians, and were doing some activities to sell their bodies. In order to find evidence of Heavenly Palace No. 1's illegal activities, Qin Wan'er had personally gone to the Heavenly Palace No. 1 Leisure and Entertainment Sauna Club. She had asked for a room according to the club's highest standard. The layout of the room was no different from a movie location. It was quite luxurious. The bath was very large, and it could accommodate 5 people at the same time. There were some things in the sauna room that Qin Wan'er could not name. In addition, there was a strange-looking chair next to the big bed in the room. Those who had seen it all the way to the west should know what the chair was for. Unfortunately, Qin Wan'er had never seen it, so she really didn't know. Other than that, the ceiling of the room was made of glass, and there was a red rope hanging from it, just above the bed. There was also a vertical steel pipe beside the bed that went straight to the ceiling. The huge inflatable cushion was placed on a platform next to the bed. Qin Wan'er didn't know what it was for. She could only wait for the sauna technician to explain it to her. However, the sauna technician that Qin Wan'er waited for must know who she was. When Qin Wan'er interrogated her, she said that she hadn't done anything illegal. She insisted that they were in a legal place, and that she was a legal massage technician. She only did healthcare and nothing else. Qin Wan'er went deep into the tiger's den, but she didn't get any useful clues. She could only return in frustration. However, with her keen intuition, she could absolutely clearly feel that there was something wrong in the sauna club. A legal sauna club didn't need those messy things at all. It was enough for people to take a bath and have a sauna. Of course, this was what Qin Wan'er thought in her heart, because she really hadn't seen a sauna club that was purely legal. If it was legal, no one would go there, and it would have been closed long ago. Therefore, Qin Wan'er had always been worried about Jutsai Group. She wanted to get evidence of Jutsai Group's crimes, which was really very important to her. It would be great if I could get evidence of Jutsai Group's crimes. Qin Wan'er had long wanted to get rid of Jutsai Group. Now that she had such a good opportunity, it was really what she had been dreaming of. About Wen Xiao being an undercover agent, you must not show it. Su Yin. You need to give him time to investigate, but at the same time, you have to organize the Xinjiang police to carry out a comprehensive arrest operation on Wen Xiao. A real arrest, not a fake one. It has to be very real, so that Wen Xiao can better infiltrate Jutsai Group. Qin Wan'er frowned and said, "What if we really catch Wen Xiao? The higher-ups have already issued a document saying that in the face of a wanted criminal like Wen Xiao, we can shoot him on the spot. Don't think too much about this. Wen Xiao won't be caught by the police so easily." Su Yin. If such a situation really happens, it will depend on your adaptability. You have to leave Wen Xiao a way out. I believe that he will definitely find out and escape. This is so difficult. Qin Wan'er suddenly felt a lot of pressure. When the police put all their energy on dealing with Wen Xiao, Jutsai Group will definitely take advantage of the time when the police are distracted to carry out their criminal activities. Su Yin. Once Wen Xiao infiltrates Jutsai Group and gets the evidence of their crimes, you can take advantage of the time when Jutsai Group is caught off guard to carry out a comprehensive arrest. This way, you can get rid of them all in one fell swoop. Qin Wan'er nodded. This was indeed a very good way to deal with a criminal organization like Jutsai Group. She was afraid that this was the only way to completely get rid of them. Don't hurt Wen Xiao. He is now one of us. Su Yin. You are the only person in the police who knows about this. Because I only trust you. Any of your colleagues may be the informants of Jutsai Group in the police station. Many of them are even. Qin Wan'er took a deep breath. It seemed that the current situation was too complicated. This Jutsai Group was more terrifying than she had imagined. It was very difficult to deal with. If she wanted to get rid of Jutsai Group in one fell swoop, there were too many things she needed to do. I have told you everything I need to tell you. Su Yin. Today you can just treat it as a date with me. You can't let anyone or your colleagues know that you came out to talk about work. Because Su Yin was considered a familiar face in the Xinjiang police station. Su Yin's worry that someone would be suspicious was not unfounded. If someone asks me when I go back, should I really say that I came out on a date with you? Qin Wan glared at him. I just finished a meeting with my people and told everyone to focus on dealing with Wen Xiao. I even cancelled their holidays. Su Yin helplessly shrugged. For the final victory of the revolution, you have to suffer a little. Just act like you are going on a date with me. Is this very difficult? Of course it is very difficult. I am not going on a date with you at all. If you want me to pretend to be on a date, I definitely can't do it. I am not an actress. Qin Wan shook her head hard. I can't learn it. The little girls who go on dates all have a kind of shy feeling. I know that for such a big thing, I definitely can't pretend. In this case, Su Yin really had no other way. He suddenly held Qin Wan's face with both hands and kissed Qin Wan's red lips fiercely. Such a sudden kiss without any warning, Qin Wan only felt that her face was suddenly hot. Although various ways to push Su Yin away flashed through her mind, Qin Wan didn't use any of them in the end. She just let Su Yin kiss her without any fear. Finally, this sudden happiness ended. Su Yin looked at Qin Wan's red face with a smirk. Now you feel like you are on a date, right? For the smooth progress of the revolution, I can only wrong you. You are so annoying. Qin Wan fiercely glared at Su Yin and ran out of the room with a red face. Wait for me, I will send you back. You didn't drive so far. I will take a taxi myself. Qin Wan's heart was beating wildly. She didn't know how to stop and face Su Yin. This really felt like a date. Chapter 1921. Although Su Yin chased after her, Qin Wan still didn't let Su Yin send her back. She knew very well that Zheng Yin had seized the opportunity to say some unpleasant words behind the station's back. If she still let Su Yin send her back now, Zheng Yin would have more excuses. Seeing that Qin Wan got a taxi, Su Yin didn't insist anymore. He asked her to be careful on the road, and then watched the car leave. Now, the news of Wen Zhao's arrival in Xinjiang hadn't been spread yet. He could still contact Qin Wan so blatantly. When the news of Wen Zhao's arrival in Xinjiang came out, he really didn't dare to contact Qin Wan like this. Didn't you send her off? Yi Fala had appeared behind Su Yin without him noticing. Su Yin turned back and smiled. She's already an adult. Does she still need to send me off? She can take a taxi back by herself. You don't mean what you say. Yi Fala also smiled slightly. You suddenly arrived in Xinjiang, and you immediately contacted Qin Wan. Did something big happen in Xinjiang again? Something really big happened. Su Yin nodded. The safest place for me to come here is Xingkai Hotel. Let's go. Let's go to my place and drink the champagne. I really need your help with something. If I can help, it's really an honor. Yi Fala said. But are you sure you want me to drink with you? I haven't drunk with a man for a long time. Su Yin grinned and pretended to be surprised. Don't scare me. I haven't drunk with a woman for a long time. Then we really should have a drink. Yi Fala pouted and said, Let's go. Let's go upstairs and talk about what you need me to help you with. I will do my best. Su Yin and Yi Fala returned to the room again. After closing the door, Su Yin asked, You know about the Jutsai group, right? Of course I know. Yi Fala said, No matter what, I'm still a local in Xinjiang. I'm quite familiar with the Jutsai group. Why? Are you going to investigate the Jutsai group now? Oh, this is really a big deal. Why do you say that? Su Yin was startled. He could tell that Yi Fala also knew how the Jutsai group made money, but he never believed that the Jutsai group would be investigated one day. Yi Fala said, What illegal things has the Jutsai group done? Perhaps many people could say it, but no one could produce any evidence. If you want to investigate, I'm afraid you need evidence. But if you don't even have such a thing, how are you going to investigate? Su Yin shrugged. How do you think we can get evidence of Jutsai group's crimes? I don't dare to say that. The police can't even confirm whether Jutsai group committed a crime or not. Yi Fala said, If you really want to know about the internal affairs of the Jukai group, I'm afraid you can only ask from their internal people, but no one has ever succeeded in this. Su Yin was startled. Yes, Yifara is right. If it was so easy to break through the internal affairs of the Jutsai group, then the evidence of their crimes would have already been investigated by the police. It wouldn't be like now, where things would be so complicated. It must be the internal core members to be able to get traces of illegal things done by the Jutsai group. Only then can you get evidence of their crimes. Otherwise, it's impossible. Yifara said again. I'm just talking nonsense because I don't dare to say that the Jutsai group has done illegal things. They can sue me for slander. Su Yin smiled faintly. I'm afraid they won't have the chance to sue you. You can just say it. I came here this time to thoroughly understand the criminal evidence of the Jutsai group. No way. Yifara was surprised. You told Qin Waner about this matter? About the Jutsai group? Su Yin nodded. Yifara didn't even think about it before denying it to Su Yin. Are you crazy? Do you want to break into the internal affairs of the Jutsai group? Su Yin, I'm telling you this is impossible. Have you ever thought about your identity? What is your identity? It's impossible for the Jutsai group to let you join. Why? Su Yin asked. As far as I know, the people who really control everything in the core of the Jutsai group are all very smart. And the people under them who really do things that can't be seen in the light are also people who can't be seen in the light. They are all wanted criminals in China or internationally. Yifara said. What is your identity? Do you think you won't be investigated if you join the Jutsai group? You are the president of the Tianyu group, and a special talent of our country's secret department. Do you think they won't investigate this? Su Yin disagreed. So what if they investigate? As long as they need my ability and take a fancy to my strength, then it's fine, right? If they find out about your identity, they will be able to judge that you weren't forced to join the Jutsai group to live an incognito life, Yifara said. Those people in the Jutsai group are very cautious and careful. They would rather kill 1,000 people than miss a single one. That's why they didn't leave any evidence of their crimes. After saying that, Yifara looked at Su Yin very seriously. Su Yin, I'll emphasize to you again. Although no one can prove that the Jutsai group committed a crime, they are definitely dangerous people. You have to believe me. Don't provoke those people. You will definitely be suspected by them. Su Yin knew that he would be able to get some positive answers from Yifara. Then what do you think is the most basic condition to break into their internal affairs? The most basic condition? Then you are at least an A-class wanted criminal in Huaxia. Yifara rolled his eyes at Su Yin. Do you think you can do that? Su Yin smiled slightly. Is an A-class wanted criminal enough? If I'm an S-class wanted criminal, they will probably like me even more. Hearing Su Yin's words, Yifala was suddenly enlightened. She had seen the news this morning. The matter regarding the S-class wanted criminal Wen Xiao was now known by almost everyone. Yifala could almost guess half of what Su Yin's words meant. Su Yin didn't tell Yifara. He knew that Yifara was a smart person. She only needed a little bit of explanation to understand. If there is really an S-class wanted criminal who dares to run around in society, he will definitely put on makeup. Su Yin. If there is really such a person staying in Xingkai Hotel, I'm afraid that the staff won't be able to distinguish him with their eyes. Yifara frowned and looked at Su Yin. She knew that Su Yin still had something to say, and this was what Su Yin needed her to do for him. Only Sister Yizi's discerning eyes can distinguish him. Su Yin smiled slightly. Xinjiang Black Widow isn't someone to be trifled with. I heard that the eyes of spiders are especially poisonous. Even if a small bug flies in front of them, they can quickly catch it. Yifara sighed and shook her head. Su Yin, you really know how to give me difficult problems. You are making things difficult for me, do you know that? Sister Yizi, I have no other choice. Su Yin. Since you said so, then I believe that you have already understood what I mean. I like to deal with smart people like you. You are not giving me a chance to reject you. Yifara said. Su Yin, I want to say something in advance. I will help you do everything I can. But if things are out of my control, I really can't help you. Su Yin gave her a thumbs up. With your words, I am absolutely relieved. But you really don't let me be relieved. Yifara said. If only people with wanted status are involved in this matter, I believe that the degree of safety will be quite high. But you must not casually contact those people. Can you promise me? Su Yun smiled slightly. I can contact them without the identity of Su Yun. What do you mean? Yi Fara became nervous. Don't mess around. Su Yun stuck out his tongue. We have business dealings before. Miss Yi, I am your good friend Yun Su. We met in Myanmar. Have you forgotten? While speaking, Su Yun took out a wig from his bag and put it on. He also put on a pair of black-rimmed glasses. He even reached out and touched his beard. If I don't shave for 2 days, my cheeks will be full. How is it? Do you think I look like someone from Southeast Asia? Chapter 1922. Su Yun, this is really not funny at all. Yi Fara said bluntly, if you disguise an identity, they won't be able to find you. It's also impossible to contact the people of Jutsai Group. Do you understand? Su Yun took off the wig. I have no choice. Besides, I won't directly contact the people of Jutsai Group. I disguise myself as such to better contact Wen Xiao. I need to know the situation from Wen Xiao. Wen Xiao is going undercover in Jutsai Group. Do you think you won't be noticed if you contact him? How do you and Wen Xiao know each other? Have you thought about how to make up a story? Did you make up a story with Wen Xiao? Yi Fara didn't want Su Yun to take this risk. The one-eyed mercenary group was quite famous in Southeast Asia. It makes sense that they would know a friend from Southeast Asia, like me. Su Yun said faintly, don't worry. With my tacit understanding with Wen Xiao, he will definitely understand what I mean. And I have already asked my superiors to inform Wen Xiao to stay in Xinkai Hotel after arriving in Xinjiang. Yi Fara nodded. It's not a problem for him to stay here. We will help him if we can, but the problem of your identity still needs to be considered. Okay, I will consider it carefully. Su Yun nodded. Right, does Qin Wan'er know that Wen Xiao will be staying in our hotel? Yi Fara said. If there is clear news that Wen Xiao is in Xinjiang, I believe the police will conduct a big investigation. If Qin Wan'er knows that he is staying in our hotel, maybe it will be better. Su Yun shook his head. No, the more it is like this, the more we can't let her know that Wen Xiao is staying in our hotel. If she brings people to investigate, then cooperate with her and investigate carefully. I believe that Wen Xiao will definitely be able to handle this small matter. Isn't it better if she knows? Yi Fara said. No, I know Qin Wan'er better than you. If she knows, she will be unnatural. Su Yun. If she wasn't such a serious and dedicated person, I wouldn't even have told her the truth about Wen Xiao being a spy. I told her because I didn't want her to waste too much energy on this matter. Yi Fala smiled and said, Su Yun, I didn't expect you to be someone who knows how to take care of women. I've always been very protective of women. Su Yun. Can't you tell? Then we'll have to see how you're going to treat me. Yi Fara joked. Tonight, Su Yun was stunned. This was not a good joke. At his age, it was not easy to control his behavior in the face of temptation. Look at how scared you are. Yi Fara said. You should rest well. I will do what you want me to do for you. If Wen Xiao comes to the hotel, I will inform you as soon as possible. Only then did Su Yun grin. I knew you were the most reliable. Okay, I won't talk to you anymore. You didn't rest well during this time. Rest for a while. I will arrange for someone to send dinner directly to your room. What do you want to eat? Yi Fara said, since you want to pretend to be a Huaxia person from Southeast Asia, I think I should get you some curry, pancakes, and the like. Su Yun quickly waved his hand. Since I'm in Huaxia, of course, I have to change my taste. I have some medicinal cuisine from Huaxia to nourish my body. That's the way to go. Then I will ask someone to make a soup for you with yam and money meat to nourish your body. Yi Fara smiled embarrassedly after saying that. I'm afraid that if I make it up to you, you won't be able to sleep at night. Don't blame me. Su Yun also joked. If I can't sleep at night, I will call you. Then I will give you more. I will wait for your call. Yi Fara wasn't afraid of Su Yun joking with her. Whoever doesn't hit is a dog. After the two chatted for a while, Yi Fara left Su Yun's room. Su Yun's haggard expression could be seen on his face. This was definitely not normal. This clearly showed that Su Yun really needed a good rest. During this time, he had been busy running around. Moreover, Su Yun had been thinking about so many things in his heart. It was normal for him to feel tired. After Yi Fara left, Su Yun really slept very comfortably. There were people he could trust here, so he could sleep peacefully. Su Yun didn't tell Chang and the others that he had come to Xinjiang. Obviously, he had his own considerations. Therefore, Yi Fara didn't mention this to anyone. She had a strong premonition that the next time she went to Su Yun's room, Su Yun would wear a wig and talk to her with Yin Su's identity. Yi Fara sighed with emotion. The net of the law was long but not wide. Even the Jutsai group might be thoroughly investigated. After when Xiao got off the car at Xinjiang's highway and left, he always chose to avoid the crowded roads. Unknowingly, he walked for 2 hours and finally entered the city of Xinjiang. On this day, when Xiao didn't do anything, he just strolled around the Jutsai building of the Jutsai group and walked around the vicinity of Heavenly Palace No. 1. He waited until the sky darkened before he breathed a sigh of relief. On the first day he came to Xinjiang, he felt that there were a lot of police in Xinjiang. He didn't know if it was because he cared too much. When the sky darkened, when Xiao began to look for Xinkai Hotel, this was because the higher-ups told him that it would be safer to stay at Xinkai Hotel. However, all the authority was still in his hands. No matter where he stayed, he had to be 100% vigilant. Once the news that he was in Xinjiang spread, the Xinjiang police would definitely use a carpet search to search for him. Moreover, under such circumstances, he still had to find a way to get in touch with the core members of the Jutsai group. Everything was too difficult. It was really too difficult. When Xiao finally found Xinkai Hotel, he used his fake ID to get a room. Everything went smoothly. However, there was one thing that made it difficult for him. He didn't have much money in his pocket. In Xinkai Hotel, the cheapest room cost 998 yuan a night. All the money he had on him was enough to stay for 2 days. When Xiao only got a room for 1 day. Obviously, there weren't many people who only got a room for 1 day in this kind of hotel. Of course, when the anti-pornography and illegal activities weren't so serious, many people came with a companion. "Sir, you're only staying for 1 night? Do you want to check out before noon tomorrow?" The girl at the front desk kindly reminded him. When Xiao smiled helplessly, "I don't have that much cash on me. This room fee plus 500 yuan deposit is not enough for me to stay for 2 days. I'll withdraw the money tomorrow." "Sir, we are a 5-star hotel. You can pay by card here." The girl at the front desk smiled. She thought that this old man was really interesting. He probably hadn't stayed in such a high-class place before. When Xiao was stunned. "I'm not sure about tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow." "Okay then. We'll inform you in advance before checking out tomorrow." "Okay." After when Xiao took his ID, he rushed to the room he got. He had to tell the higher-ups about this. He couldn't steal the room fee, right? Wouldn't he really be a thief then? The scene at the front desk obviously attracted Yi Fala's attention. After when Xiao left, Yi Fala went to the front desk to inquire about the situation. Then he said to the waiter, "That gentleman's room has been extended. He doesn't need to pay. He's my friend." "Ah, Director Yi, he's your friend. Then he didn't say it just now." The girl at the front desk was a little surprised. "Otherwise, I'll inform him now." "No need. You do what you need to do. I'll do the other things myself." Yi Fala said, "My friend's personality is more introverted. There are many things that he's embarrassed to say directly." "Okay, then I'm really sorry, Director Yi." "It's okay. This matter isn't your fault." Yi Fala smiled. "You do what you need to do. I'm leaving." "Yes, Director Yi. If there's anything, please feel free to tell me." Chapter 1923. After when Xiao arrived at the room, the first thing he did was to turn on the hotel's computer to contact the higher-ups. He had a communicator installed in his ear. This thing could only receive orders from the higher-ups, but it couldn't contact the higher-ups. His situation couldn't be reported to the higher-ups in time. There was a reason for the higher-ups to do this. This invisible communicator that could only receive messages was absolutely anti-jamming. In other words, when the higher-ups didn't contact Wen Xiao, even if someone used a search jammer to check Wen Xiao, they wouldn't find the communicator's existence. Moreover, when the higher-ups gave orders to Wen Xiao, this communicator could also sense and judge based on the surrounding body heat and temperature. When there were other people present, the communicator would give feedback to the higher-ups. The higher-ups wouldn't give orders to Wen Xiao at this time. The only drawback of this thing was that Wen Xiao couldn't actively control it and contact the higher-ups. This was because those who could actively control it would definitely be detected by the search detector. Wen Xiao could easily be exposed if he brought this communicator with the people of the Jutsai group. There was only one way for Wen Xiao to contact the higher-ups, and that was to log into a fan forum. Then, under the Luaning fans section, there was a post called Strive to win the Asian Champions League next year. Then he would use a secret code to communicate with the higher-ups. When the higher-ups saw the secret code, they would reply to Wen Xiao. Although it was a little troublesome to do this, it could ensure absolute safety. Wen Xiao had no choice but to use this method to contact the higher-ups. Just when Wen Xiao turned on the computer and was about to use the secret code to analyze his current situation and post a message at the back of the post, the phone in the room rang. Aya, this 5-star hotel also has a harassment call? Wen Xiao was stunned. If there was a call at this time to ask if he needed any massage service, Wen Xiao would definitely curse. I don't have enough money in my pocket to go out and try a few famous snacks in Xinjiang tomorrow. I really don't have the mood to care about this. Wen Xiao really wanted to directly unplug the phone line, but wireless phones were popular now. Even the landline didn't have a phone line. This bastard couldn't not pick it up. Hello? If you have something to say, say it. If not, hang up. I'm busy here. I don't have time to care about you. Wen Xiao picked up the phone and didn't have a good temper. Yi Fala, who was on the other side of the phone, was stunned. This guy, she had already let him stay in her hotel for free, yet he still had this attitude. Therefore, Yi Fala also said in a bad mood, "If you have the money to stay here, I really don't have the time to care about you. Now listen carefully, you can stay in this room for as long as you want. You don't have to pay. Goodbye." Yi Fala did not give Wen Xiao a chance to ask any questions, and hung up the phone right away. Wen Xiao stared blankly at the phone. Did he report this to his superiors? Not yet. He had just turned on his computer. Oh my God, the people up there can really reach the heavens. Did they open the celestial eye? She could see his difficulties from so far away. If he had this ability, why would he still need to go undercover to investigate the criminal evidence of Jutsai Group? Seriously, he had used his ability in the wrong place. Grumbling was grumbling, ridiculing was ridiculing, but what should be done still had to be done. Now that the problem of accommodation had been solved, Wen Zhao's mood was much better. He even regretted that he should have asked if he could eat while he was staying here. If he could eat for free, that would be perfect. However, Wen Xiao quickly denied his naive thoughts. The higher-ups sent him here to carry out a mission, not to let him go on a vacation. Wen Xiao did not eat much for the entire day. Now that he was really hungry, he finally managed to stay in a hotel. He was too lazy to go out, so he opened the service book in the hotel room. There were indeed some things that were sold inside. But the things inside were really too expensive, right? The cheapest business package was 260 yuan per set. Even the instant noodles cost 35 yuan a bucket. Mineral water was 15 yuan per bottle. A pack of cigarettes that usually cost 20 yuan outside was several times the price inside. Was this a 5-star hotel? This was simply a scam. Wen Xiao looked at the remaining 200 to 300 yuan in his pocket. He could not even bear to eat instant noodles. Forget it, forget it. I'll go out and find a roadside stall and ask for a bowl of 10 yuan ramen. At least I can eat until I'm full. At this time, the phone in the room rang again. This time, Wen Xiao was not so disgusted. It seemed that the higher-ups knew about his difficulties and arranged for someone to deliver food to him. Aya, this logistical guarantee job is really too good. Wen Zhao's heart was filled with warmth. Hello? Wen Xiao picked up the phone. This time his tone was much gentler. Obviously, the phone call was made by Yi Fala. Hearing Wen Zhao's gentle tone, she did not know whether to laugh or cry. You're really powerful. I'm giving you benefits and you're speaking so gently, Wen Zhao said embarrassedly. It was a misunderstanding just now, a misunderstanding. The hotel's Western restaurant. A friend wants to meet you for coffee. Yi Fala did not delay and directly hung up the phone. Wen Zhao was startled. Didn't they say that the police did not know that he was undercover? Why were there so many arrangements when he just arrived in Xinjiang? Didn't the higher-ups say to let him fend for himself? These arrangements were obviously not what Wen Zhao expected. But since he had already picked up the phone, he had to go even if it was a dragon's pool or a tiger's den. Moreover, if there was a problem, then he could not continue to stay. Go. The Western restaurant was fine. Wen Zhao turned off the computer, took the room card and directly went out. Speaking of which, this Xingkai hotel was really big. Wen Zhao looked at the map and studied it for a while before he successfully arrived at the Western restaurant. After arriving at the Western restaurant, Wen Zhao looked around. There were more than a dozen guests scattered around, and 4 of them were foreigners. Cough cough. A man with slightly curly hair and glasses coughed a few times. Wen Zhao's gaze unnaturally followed the sound. At first glance, Wen Zhao did not feel anything. Then he began to feel that something was wrong. When he took a closer look, he felt that this man with glasses was very familiar. After taking a closer look, Wen Zhao finally realized. He was almost stunned. Su Yin could actually dress up like this. Wasn't this mission carried out by himself? Why was Su Yin also involved? Wen Zhao walked to Su Yin's side nervously and sat down. With a blank face he whispered, "Boss, why are you here?" "I'm here to assist you." Su Yin took a sip of coffee and said in a low voice, "The higher-ups have agreed. But I can't expose my identity, so I can only secretly assist you. I know that you are eager to make up for your mistakes and want to prove yourself. So you definitely did not make any preparations before going on the mission." Wen Zhao did not say anything, which was a tacit agreement. "You can stay in the hotel as you wish. It's one of us. Everything that can be done for you will be done for." Su Yun's voice was still very low. "There is a bank card under the table on your left. There is money in it, enough for you to use. Don't steal the wallets of the people to do things. If you did this before, I will forgive you. You were forced to do it. But you can't do it in the future. Boss, you know me well." Wen Zhao did not know whether to laugh or cry. "I was forced to do it before. I will never do it in the future. Okay, I won't talk to you anymore." Su Yin said, "We should also meet as little as possible." "And okay, I will go back to plan the plan right away," Wen Zhao said. Su Yin smiled slightly. "Don't worry. I guess you haven't eaten well these days. I ordered some steak and pizza. You eat slowly. I will go first." After Su Yin finished speaking, she got up and left. Wen Zhao's heart was really warm. With Su Yun's support, he was instantly filled with strength for this mission. Originally, he was really worried that he wouldn't be able to handle so many difficulties. Now it seemed that he was really thinking too much. Su Yin had given him so much help. If he still couldn't complete the mission perfectly, then who would he be worthy of? At this time the steak and pizza were served. Wen Zhao wolfed down the food and replenished the energy of the day. He took the bank card stuck under the table and stuffed it into his pocket. Then he got up and left the Western restaurant. Chapter 1924. Su Yin was relieved that the 2 of them had already contacted each other. Now it was up to Wen Zhao. If he wanted to get in touch with the people above the Jutsai group, he could only rely on Wen Zhao's own ability. Su Yin believed that he definitely had a way. He did not need to worry about the rest. Wen Zhao was not wandering around the Jutsai building today. He was also looking for an opportunity. Unfortunately, Wen Zhao didn't find any opportunities at all. The photos of those people kept flashing in his mind. If he couldn't find a breakthrough from these people, he would have no chance to break into the inner circle of the Jutsai group. Because of this problem, Wen Zhao did not sleep well the whole night. He really could not think of a good way to solve this problem. However, things progressed very quickly. The next day, the Xinjiang police received an order from above. according to reliable information, when Xiao has entered Xinjiang City. Such a document directly caused an uproar in the Xinjiang City police circle. No one thought that things would happen so suddenly. Of course, other than Qinwan. Or if it was on a normal day, Qinwan would have started to deploy the work of various departments quickly after receiving such news. However, today she seemed to be in no state at all. In the huge conference room, everyone was talking about the big trouble this time. Only Qinwan's eyes were dull. No one knew what problem she was thinking about. Zhang Guoping coughed lightly, trying to attract Qinwan's attention. However, Qinwan still did not respond. It seems that our bureau really has a crow's mouth. Whatever we say comes true. It's really smart. Zheng Yun's words were basically naming names. Everyone remembered what Qinwan said yesterday. She kept emphasizing that when Xiao was very likely to come to Xinjiang. It had not been 24 hours, and Qinwan's words had become reality. If this was not a crow's mouth, then what was? You can't say that, Zheng. Little Qin only came to the conclusion yesterday, after careful analysis. Today, it seems like she really analyzed Wen Zhao's psychological activities very seriously. Otherwise, she wouldn't have guessed so accurately. Zhang Guoping tried to smooth things over. However, Qinwan did not hear what Zheng Yun said at all. She still looked like she had lost her soul. Deputy Bureau Chief Qin, why did you suddenly stop talking? Since you are so familiar with Wen Zhao's psychological activities, then this big case really needs your leadership. Zheng Yun continued. You can't drop the ball at such a crucial moment, right? Qinwan suddenly came back to her senses. She really didn't know how to control her current situation. She knew too much and lost her usual style. Obviously, everyone could see that something was wrong with Qinwan. A careful person asked with concern. Chief Qin, are you under too much pressure from this matter? Did you not rest well? You don't look too good. Why don't you go back to the office and rest? Zheng Yun did not agree. Cancel all holidays and rest periods. This is what Deputy Director Qin personally said. Are you asking her to go against her own words? That depends on the situation. Can't you see that there's something wrong with Chief Qin's mental state? Yes, there's something wrong. Deputy Director Qin. Weren't you in good spirits when you went on a date with the handsome guy yesterday? Why are you in a trance after encountering such a big matter today? Zheng Yun continued to be sarcastic. It seems that you were really tired yesterday. You must have overdrawn your mental and physical strength. He. Zheng Yun, aren't you going overboard with your words? Zheng Yun was not nice to those who did not support him. It's not your turn to interrupt when the leader is speaking. No matter what, Zheng Yun was still the deputy bureau chief. When he said such words, the people below were really speechless. Moreover, they did not dare to really fall out with Zheng Yun. If he really made things difficult for them, they could only break their teeth and swallow it in their stomachs. When Qinwan heard their quarrel, she frowned. Suddenly, she slapped the table and said sternly, Are you done? Seeing that Qinwan was angry, everyone quieted down. Only Zheng Yun dared to refute because he was at the same level as her. Deputy Director Qin, isn't your temper too bad? If there's anything that doesn't go your way in life, don't bring your emotions to work. Zhang Guoping tried to smooth things over again. Okay, let's talk less. Let's talk about work. This is a special time. Qinwan did not want to argue with Zheng Yun because she knew what was more important. That's right. It's working time now. This is a special time. I also hope that everyone can unite, put down the imbalance in their hearts, and devote themselves to work. Yes, don't bring your personal life and emotional life into work. It will affect your work. If something goes wrong, no one can bear the responsibility. Zheng Yun was absolutely unwilling to be at a disadvantage. Well, listen to me. Although my ability is limited, in terms of experience, I'm afraid that I have more than you young people. Zhang Guoping did not want to give the two of them a chance to bicker. When Xiao escaped to Xinjiang. What does that mean? I want to share my opinion. Zhang Guoping paused, took a sip of tea and said slowly, If he dares to come to a big city like Xinjiang, it means that he has enough confidence in himself. I believe that everyone can understand this. Also, I think that he wants to seek and gain opportunities for himself. Director Zhang is right. I also think that Wen Xiao wants to gain more opportunities. Qin Wan'er said. What kind of national secret did Wen Xiao get? None of us know. But if this secret is important enough, he can use this secret in exchange for greater benefits in Xinjiang. What do you mean? He's already like this. What qualifications does he have to exchange for benefits? Zheng Yin did not understand. It was no wonder that he did not understand. He was just idling at work every day. As a director, he only knew how to drink tea, surf the internet and watch movies. He really did not know anything. Qin Wan'er was definitely not in the mood to explain to him. They could only rely on Zhang Guoping. Because spies from other countries in China will not go to small cities. The scope of these people's activities are concentrated in big cities like Yanjing, Xinjiang and Guangshan. So, if he has important secrets, he must want to come into contact with these people. And the probability of coming into contact with these people is higher in Xinjiang. Because Xinjiang is the most representative international metropolis in Huaxia. Zheng Yin suddenly understood but did not show it. Actually, it doesn't have to be like this. Director Zhang has already said that the probability is higher. Qin Wan'er was a little impatient. No one said that this is necessary. Okay. Zhang Guoping immediately controlled the mood. There are some things that I don't know if I should say, but what I want to say now is that with the police's ability, it is impossible for us to find the existence of those spies. So, we can only think of ways to catch Wen Xiao. After all, he is fighting alone. It will be easier for us to deal with him. Zheng Bin nodded. Then let's organize a citywide investigation first. This is also our Deputy Director Qin's strength. Haha, everyone, let's move. Don't let Deputy Director Qin point at your noses and scold you for being slow. To deal with people like Wen Xiao, a citywide investigation seems to be meaningless. Qin Wan'er suddenly said. This was not her style, but she had too many things to consider now. Because she did not want to catch Wen Xiao. She did not want to confront Wen Xiao head-on. There was a reason for this. The more she could avoid confronting Wen Xiao head-on, the better Qin Wan'er's protection work would be. Once she confronted Wen Xiao head-on, she really did not know how to disguise herself. Su Yin had already told her about this matter. She must definitely hide this matter well. Moreover, Su Yin also said that there were many people in the police station who were spies of the Jutsai group. Qin Wan'er did not dare to take it lightly. But if we don't investigate, what else can we do? Zheng Yin said. Do we just sit and wait? Deputy Director Qin, this is not your style. Your style is definitely to dig 3 feet into the ground to find the person, right? Qin Wan'er was a little nervous. Did Zheng Yin see something? I just don't want anyone to get hurt. Qin Wan'er explained. After all, Wen Xiao is not an ordinary criminal. He is not an ordinary person. We can't deal with him like we deal with ordinary criminals. Zhang Guoping nodded. Little Qin's words are reasonable. If we act rashly, we will only put ourselves in danger. Then don't catch him. Just wait. Zheng Yin had a look of righteousness. We are the police. We can't just not do something because of danger, right? All right, Deputy Director Qin, if you don't bring people to investigate, I will bring people to investigate. You are afraid of danger. I am not. I really don't believe that Wen Xiao has 3 heads and 6 arms. Chapter 1925. Little Qin, I think you know more about Wen Xiao than us. You'd better tell Zheng Yin about it. This is not a joke. Zhang Guoping said nervously. He didn't want anyone in the bureau to get into trouble because of Wen Xiao. I just want to say that you have to distinguish between confidence and arrogance. Qin Wan'er didn't have the time to argue with Zheng Yin. If he wants to investigate, then let him. I also hope that someone can find clues about Wen Xiao. Zheng Yin wasn't convinced. Okay, I'll investigate. This time, I'm definitely going to get all the credit for it. Chief Zhang, you can be my witness. I was the one who wanted to do this. Qin Wan'er didn't do anything. A woman who retreats when faced with a problem will never amount to anything. Qin Wan'er had nothing to say to Zheng Yin. Meeting adjourned. I only hope that everyone will be fully prepared and be ready to arrest Wen Xiao at any time. After that, Qin Wan'er stood up and left. A few people stood up as well. Zheng Yin slammed the table. You think the meeting is adjourned just because she said so? She's not the only one who has the final say in this bureau. Everyone sit down. I'll assign the tasks now. We'll start immediately. We'll start with all the hotels in Xinjiang. The quarrel between the two left the others at a loss. Zhang Guoping patted Zheng Yin's shoulder. Assign the tasks to them first. I'll take a look at little Qin. After all, we're colleagues in the bureau. Let's not make things difficult. Zheng Yin shook his head. Chief Zhang, you saw it too. I'm not the one who wants to be unhappy. It's her fault. Yesterday, when we weren't sure if Wen Xiao had arrived in Xinjiang, she was the one who shouted loudly. Now, she's the one who doesn't want to face it directly. I'll take responsibility for this matter myself. Everyone says that she can solve cases and has courage. This time, you can see that she's not weak, right? Young people are really bold. Zhang Guoping shook his head helplessly. He patted Zheng Yun's shoulder heavily again and said to the others in the office, Okay, you all listen to Chief Zheng's arrangements. This is a big case. It's time to make a contribution. That's right. If you want to make a contribution, listen to my arrangements. I guarantee that you won't regret it, Zheng Yin said confidently. After Zhang Guoping left the meeting room, he went to find Qin Wan'er. After Qin Wan'er returned to her office, she quickly calmed down. She really couldn't think of a countermeasure. How could she avoid a direct confrontation with Wen Xiao? Bang, bang, bang. Zhang Guoping knocked on the open door and walked in with a smile. Little Qin, are you thinking about something? I feel like something is wrong with you today. Qin Wan'er quickly turned around and saw that Zhang Guoping had already walked into her room. She really wanted to tell Zhang Guoping about her current situation. After all, Zhang Guoping had been in the police force for 30 years and had more experience than her. He was also the most trustworthy person in the police station. However, thinking of Su Yun's words, Qin Wan'er still swallowed her words. Chief Zhang, I'm fine. I just feel that Wen Xiao is really too dangerous. As policemen, every criminal we face is dangerous. Zhang Guoping said, Little Qin, you are not a person who is afraid of danger. Can a mere Wen Xiao scare you? This isn't like you. Qin Wan'er also realized that her performance was somewhat difficult to convince the public. Chief Zhang, I'm not scared. I'm just thinking about how to lure the snake out of its hole. How to make Wen Xiao show up on his own initiative, so that we will have more initiative. Yeah, this is even more difficult. We may not be able to find him even if we take the initiative to look for him. Do you still want him to show up on his own? Zhang Guoping said, This is too difficult. Do you have any good ideas? Qin Wan'er smiled embarrassedly. If I had a good idea, I wouldn't be having a headache here. Yeah, since there is no other way, then we have to do it according to Zheng Yun's method. Let's search the whole city. Zhang Guoping said, Little Qin, you know that I am more optimistic about you among the young people. Catching Wen Xiao is a great merit. Do you understand what I mean? Qin Wan'er was stunned. She nodded and said, Chief Zhang, I didn't become a police officer for merit. I know this. Zhang Guoping nodded and said, But if you don't make any contributions, you won't be promoted. If you can't be promoted, you won't be able to fulfill your great ambitions. These are all linked. So listen to me and search with Zheng Yin immediately. Qin Wan'er didn't answer immediately. She thought for a while and said, Let him search first. If I go now, I don't know what he will say. Chief Zhang, I'm sorry to make you worry. I just want to be alone now. Oh. Zhang Guoping saw that he couldn't persuade her, so he didn't force her. You think about it carefully. Is there any good idea? If you can think of it, then it's best. If you can't think of it, then we will take it step by step. We will treat Wen Xiao as an ordinary criminal. And Qin Wan'er nodded hard. Chief Zhang, I will listen to you. Zhang Guoping was relieved. Then I will go and do my work. You have to get back to work as soon as possible. Our Xinjiang police station needs you very much. I promise, Qin Wan'er said. When Zhang Guoping left, Qin Wan'er heard the sound of her colleagues in the police station moving. Soon, the police cars in the station also drove out. The search organized by Zheng Yin had already begun. Qin Weiner frowned. If Wen Xiao came to Xinjiang, where would he hide? Soon, Qin Weiner had a terrible idea in her mind. Since Su Yin was at the Xingkai Hotel, would Wen Xiao also? Phew, this matter was probably close. She could only hope that Zheng Yun and the others would find nothing. Otherwise, she really couldn't think about how the situation would develop. Zheng Yun led a group of people out. Their goal was very clear. They started their investigation from the best 5-star hotels in Xinjiang. Wen Xiao should be someone who was very rich and knew how to enjoy life. Therefore, the living conditions should not be too bad. Moreover, people like him should feel safer in expensive hotels because the people living in 5-star hotels were either rich or noble. So, even the police were not willing to provoke them. If it was a normal day, Zheng Yun was really unwilling to take people to provoke them. But today was different. He wanted to prove to Qin Weiner that he could also solve cases. Why was it that Qin Wan always got the credit for every case? This time, Zheng Yun was going to fight for it. He wanted the higher-ups to see that he, Zheng Yun, could stand up when Qin Weiner was scared and take down an S-level wanted criminal. Zheng Yun, who had not solved any cases on normal days, really did not know what an S-level wanted criminal was. They were people who had killed people and committed crimes that were so bad that it could not be worse. Generally, A-level wanted criminals were extremely vicious people who had killed many people. S-level wanted criminals were even more vicious than A-level wanted criminals. Zheng Yun dared to boast so shamelessly, because he did not know how terrible this kind of wanted criminal was. If he had really faced a wanted criminal of this level before, even if you gave him 100 guts, he would not be so confident in leading a team out. Now, Zheng Yun's state was like a newborn calf that was not afraid of a tiger. He thought that he could solve everything. Only when he faced this kind of terrible situation would he know how much he was worth. Naturally, Xingkai Hotel was one of the best 5-star hotels in Xinjiang. Furthermore, Zheng Yun led his men to investigate the second hotel and found this place. Several police cars swarmed into Xingkai Hotel, causing the parking lot in Xingkai Hotel to have a tense atmosphere. Yi Faraday, who saw the situation in the office, rushed downstairs in an instant. She realized that the police had started to investigate Wen Xiao. But there was one thing she did not understand. Didn't Su Yin already see Qin Weiner yesterday? Qin Weiner definitely knew about Wen Xiao's situation. If that was the case, why would the police still investigate here? After Zheng Yin got out of the car, he arranged for people to block all the entrances and exits of Xingkai Hotel. He waved his hand and led 4 or 5 people straight into the lobby of Xingkai Hotel. He wanted to do what he did just now. He wanted to be careful and not let go of a single room. Chapter 1926. Su Yun, who was dressed in a Southeast Asian style, was currently drinking tea in the resting area of the hotel lobby. He knew that once the news of Wen Xiao sneaking into Xinjiang was released, the police would investigate Xingkai Hotel sooner or later. However, he didn't think that the investigation would come so suddenly and so quickly. Su Yin used the corner of his eyes to search but didn't see Qin Wan-er's figure. He was slightly startled. It seemed that Qin Wan-er still hadn't completely digested what he told her yesterday. Now she still couldn't control her emotions and actions regarding this matter for a while. Isn't this Chief Zheng? What's going on? Such a big formation. Could it be that you're here to arrest me? Yi Fala used her fastest speed to come downstairs. After seeing Zheng Yun, she immediately went up to him. I've always abided by the law. You know my situation. Even if you gave me the courage, I wouldn't dare to do anything illegal. Yi Fala's charm wasn't something that an ordinary girl could possess. She was born with the style of a charming queen. Ordinary men would have no control over themselves when facing her slightly delicate and coquettish tone. Although Zheng Yun was a man in his 30s with a wife and children, he still couldn't control himself when facing a woman like Yi Fala. This woman was really too exquisite. Just thinking about it made people so excited that they couldn't sleep the whole night. This wasn't the first time Zheng Yun and Yi Fala met. They had eaten together before. When Zheng Yun saw Yi Fala for the first time, he was captivated. He fantasized many times in his heart that if he had such a woman as his wife, he would have no regrets in his life. He would definitely enjoy her every night. Although that might shorten his lifespan by 3 to 5 years, Zheng Yun was absolutely willing. He was perfectly willing. Actually, there were many men who had the same thoughts as Zheng Yun. It could be said that all the men in Xinjiang who had met Yi Fala had this kind of yearning in their hearts. After all, men were men. Some random thoughts couldn't be controlled by the brain. It was all controlled by the second brother. Co Yi, I haven't seen you for a few days and you've become even prettier. TSK. If you say you're the second most beautiful woman in Xinjiang, then no one would dare to say they're the first. Zheng Yun's praise for Yi Fala was definitely not out of politeness. It came from the bottom of his heart. Yi Fala had an expression of enjoyment on her face as she said shyly, Chief Zheng, if you weren't married, I would definitely marry you. You really know how to talk. Yi Fala's words made Zheng Yun's head go numb. There was even a moment when he felt that if he could be with a woman like Yi Fala, even if he had to bear with the criticism of everyone and divorce his wife, it would be worth it. However, Zheng Yun quickly came to his senses. A woman like Yi Fala was definitely not someone he could subdue. This kind of woman was like an unruly white tiger. Only a true green dragon among men could completely subdue her. For a man like him, he could only fantasize. If he had the chance to rub some oil off his mouth, it would be very good. If Zheng Yun did not have his status as the deputy bureau chief, Yi Fala would probably not even look him in the eye. Chief Zheng, what are you doing? Is it another surprise inspection? Yi Fala stopped joking and became a little serious. This is a proper hotel. There are orders to prohibit prostitution, gambling and drugs. Do whatever you want, really do whatever you want. Everyone is serving the people. It's really hard on you. I'll be the host tonight. I'll get people to prepare our Xingkai Hotel's signature medicinal cuisine banquet. None of you can miss out. All of you must participate. Zheng Yun was a little embarrassed facing such a passionate Yi Fala. Director Yi, your character is right here. How can I suspect that your hotel is involved in such a mess? We're here this time for other reasons. Oh, do you want to rectify something? Then it should be the people from the fire department and the industry and commerce department, right? Yi Fala was stunned. Zheng Bin said, No. We won't rectify anything. Director Yi, you've seen the recent news, right? That S-level wanted criminal, Wen Xiao has already infiltrated our Xinjiang city. Yi Fala's face changed. Really? This is our police's internal news. I'm telling you because I trust you. Zheng Yun said. Don't speak carelessly. It's easy to cause social unrest. Because this person has already confirmed that he's in our Xinjiang city, we have this search operation. Yi Fala's face became even uglier. Chief Zheng, so you're suspecting that I'm harboring an S-level wanted criminal? Phew, I really don't dare to accept this big accusation. Chief Zheng, you're suspecting me like this. I really? Director Yi, definitely not. I definitely don't have any intention of suspecting you. I'm just worried that this person will infiltrate your hotel and bring you danger and trouble. Zheng Yun said. S-level wanted criminal. I'm really doing this for your own good. That's why I'm here to check your hotel. Yi Fala still had a face of disbelief. She directly said to the front desk, bring out all the room records and let Chief Zheng check. After saying that, Yi Fala turned her head again. Chief Zheng, you know the grade of our Xingkai Hotel. Those who check in here are either rich or respectable. I'll show you the check-in registration later. You know some of these people, but you can't check and disturb them. You understand what I mean, right? I'm also thinking for your career. Zheng Yun was stunned. Of course, he understood Yi Fala's meaning. Could it be that some leader checked in here? Then this really couldn't be checked. If this kind of thing happened, even if he could kill the wanted criminal Wen Xiao, he was afraid that there would be no way for him to be promoted. Director Yi. What's the specific situation? Tell me, I trust you. Zheng Yun swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Now that you've said it, I really can't do it. Yi Fala said to Zheng Yun. The room records have been brought out. You can look at them as you wish. But I definitely can't speak carelessly. If there's any rumor in the future and it angers some big leader, I'll have a way out. They'll also know that I'm not speaking carelessly. It's you guys who want to check. You guys are the police and have the right to carry out your duties. But I don't have the right to reveal the guest's information. Zheng Yin was dumbfounded. He had the right to check, but if he really checked someone who shouldn't be checked, then how could he continue to work in the future? Then the entire police station would be Qin Wan'er's world. Oh. Zheng Bin was suddenly enlightened. He finally understood why Qin Wan'er didn't come out. It was because she knew too clearly that checking these things would easily offend people. What a cunning Qin Wan'er. Qin Wan'er, you've really become a person. You can even calculate this. Zheng Bin couldn't wait to slap himself. If this matter was found out, he really offended someone he couldn't afford to offend. If people knew that it was him checking the rooms and causing trouble. No. Zheng Yin didn't dare to continue thinking about it. Wasn't this matter too serious? Bureau Chief Zheng? Bureau Chief Zheng. Yi Fala pulled the distracted Zheng Yin back to reality. If you want to check room by room, then that's not a problem. I'll bring someone to take you there now. But, give me a search warrant. If I offend some big boss, then I'll have evidence to explain myself, okay? Zheng Yin wasn't stupid. This Yi Fala knew how to clear his name, so he didn't dare to think about who was staying in the hotel. He was the one leading the team this time. Qin Wan'er and Zhang Guoping didn't participate. If he did something wrong, no one could help him shirk the responsibility. Bureau Chief Zheng, you can carry out the mission at any time. I promise I won't say anything, Yi Fala said. Zheng Yin suddenly laughed. What's there to check? I can't trust anyone but you. Director Yi, I know very well who's staying in your hotel. We can't afford to offend them. I believe that if there's really an unidentified suspicious person staying in your hotel, you'll definitely tell me immediately. Yi Fala pretended to be surprised. That won't do. You're violating the rules. We can't not check. Director Yi, isn't it all because I trust you? Zheng Bin said. With Miss Yi here, what's there for me to be worried about? If I have the time, I might as well check other hotels. Maybe there'll be a bigger harvest. Don't. Won't that violate the rules? Yi Fala said embarrassedly. You're just doing your job. Everyone will understand. Zheng Yin smiled. Director Yi, you're tricking me. I'm sorry to bother you. We still have to go to other hotels. We'll leave first. Bureau Chief Zheng, remember to bring your brothers to eat medicinal cuisine tonight. I'll get the kitchen to prepare it immediately. Yi Fala said. What time do you get off work? Zheng Yin waved his hand. There's no need. We have a lot of work to do now. We don't have time to eat and drink. Don't prepare it. Director Yi, I'll leave first. See you later. Chapter 1927. Xinjiang Black Widow was indeed Xinjiang Black Widow. As long as Yi Fala wanted to do something, there was nothing she couldn't do. Wasn't it just Zheng Yin? To deal with such a person, Yi Fala had a lot of methods. Unfortunately, Zheng Yin didn't have the willpower to take it anymore. He ran away after a few words and didn't give Yi Fala a chance to show her talent. Yi Fala turned her gaze to Su Yin, who was drinking tea in the lounge of the lobby, and smiled. Su Yin also gave her a thumbs up. He knew that it was absolutely safe to arrange for Wen Xiao to stay in Xinkai Hotel. Director Yi, just now the police said that the wanted criminal came to Xinjiang. He wouldn't really come to our hotel to stay, right? The girl at the front desk asked nervously. Many of our guests are also from other places. We didn't even check. Would it be unsafe? Silly girl, you really don't understand what that Bureau Chief Zheng meant just now. With him walking around like this, I definitely have to find a way to send him an envelope. Yi Fala said. Investigating a wanted criminal in a big hotel like ours? He didn't even look at the status of our guests. If our guests are disturbed, they won't come again. The girl at the front desk was still a little worried. After all, she had never heard of this S-class wanted criminal before. He must be a vicious guy. You don't have to worry. Use your brain and think carefully. If you were a bad guy, would you stay in such a big hotel? Yi Fala said. If it were me, I would definitely choose a small, remote hotel. I don't need to register my identity. Do you understand now? Hearing Yi Fala's explanation, the girl at the front desk was suddenly enlightened. Yes, if it was a bad guy, he would definitely choose a small, remote place. That kind of place was suitable for a bad guy to hide in. Why would a bad guy come to such a magnificent hotel to find excitement? Work hard. I will promote you to manager next year. Yi Fala smiled. She liked this girl very much. She was very serious in her work. After she finished speaking, she pointed at Su Yun's room. That Mr. drinks tea very frequently. Remember to remind the staff on duty in the lobby to add some hot water for him. Okay. The girl at the front desk said seriously. Yi Fala liked her serious attitude. In fact, any job required such a serious attitude. Many people might think that their jobs were too ordinary and had no future, so they treated their jobs with a fooling around attitude. Little did they know that if they couldn't even handle the job in front of them, they wouldn't be able to handle other jobs. Attitude determined everything, and details determined success or failure. This saying was not groundless. Wen Xiao, who had been hiding in the guest room, didn't know that so many things had happened outside. If the police had really come to check the room just now, he would have been caught off guard. If he had been a little careless and exposed himself, then he would have really died before he could achieve anything. Fortunately, Yi Fala had solved all his problems for him. Only then could Wen Xiao continue to quietly think about how he could get in touch with the people from the Jutsai group. Since he couldn't find a breakthrough at the Jutsai building, then Wen Xiao could only set his sights on the Heavenly Palace No. 1 Sauna Center. This was a very famous place in Xinjiang. There were probably a lot of people who went there. Wen Xiao pondered for a moment. His appearance definitely wouldn't work. He was pretending to be an old man in his 50s or 60s. If he took off his clothes and revealed his thick and strong muscles, no one would believe that he was this age. After thinking for a while, Wen Xiao removed the wig and stood up with his short hair covered in a thick layer of hair gel. He also shaved his beard cleanly. Anyway, he still had a fake beard. If he really needed it, he could still wear a fake one. Then, Wen Xiao put on a pair of sunglasses to cover his injured eyes, and put on the loose clothes that he had prepared before coming to Xinjiang. This way, people wouldn't be able to distinguish his height and figure. Wen Xiao waited until 10 o'clock at night before he finally walked out of the room. At this time, Su Yun was no longer in the hotel lobby. He didn't return to his room but went to the hotel's indoor swimming pool. Because he couldn't come into contact with Wen Xiao too frequently, Su Yun's body couldn't find a way to vent, so he could only go to the swimming pool to vent. After Su Yun started to swim in the hotel's pool, more and more women began to gather around the pool. There were young, beautiful, rich, and beautiful women, as well as charming young women. Most of them were not here to swim, but to look at handsome men. Looking around, in the entire hotel's swimming pool, who had a better figure than Su Yun? There were people with big bellies and people who were as thin as firewood. Once a tall, rich, and handsome man with a good figure was placed in front of Su Yun. Their figures and muscles that they were originally confident in were instantly blown to smithereens. There was no comparison at all. Su Yun's body proportions and perfect muscle lines were simply an unimaginable existence. Some people had good figures, but they didn't have much muscle. Some people had strong muscles, but their figures were out of shape because of too much training. People like Su Yun who had such a perfect combination could only be found in the Dragon Brigade. A few young women's eyes didn't leave Su Yun's body at all. From time to time, they would whisper a few words, and then burst into laughter. It was obvious that if Su Yun gave them a chance, they wouldn't let it go. In addition, there were a few single beauties who all put on the most attractive posture they thought they had, hoping that the brave and handsome man in the water would unintentionally notice them, and then fall in love at first sight, and have a beautiful encounter. Unfortunately, Su Yun's thoughts weren't really on picking up girls. He just wanted to swim until he had no energy left in his body. Just like that, Su Yun swam back and forth in the swimming pool dozens of times without resting for even a second. Phew, this endurance simply made those young married women who were whispering to each other feel their whole body heat up. It was really too inconceivable. So there was actually such a top-notch handsome man in this world. With this endurance, if he was thrown into a room, he could probably take care of all of them in one breath. Just thinking about it made them feel hot all over and blush. Unfortunately, they had already realized that this handsome man didn't even look at them. Not to mention them, even the young single ladies didn't seem to be able to attract his attention. Could it be he's gay? Once the rotten thoughts of women started, they would have even more topics to talk about. Poor Soo-yun, until he could barely lift his legs, didn't know that he was no longer a straight man in the eyes of the women around the pool. After getting out of the pool, Soo-yun quickly used a towel to wipe his hair. The scene of water droplets rolling down his muscles almost made the eyes of the women present stare blankly. It wasn't until this time that Soo-yun realized that he was being stared at by so many covetous eyes. For a while, Soo-yun didn't know what was going on. He could only smile slightly in the face of so many pairs of appreciative eyes. This smile really melted the hearts of the young girls and opened the hearts of the young women. Soo-yun didn't dare to stay any longer. Who knew if he would really be pushed down by someone if he stayed here all the time? He wasn't a casual person. When Soo-yun left the pool, Wen Xiao also walked out of the door of Shinkai Hotel. His goal was very clear. Heavenly Palace No. 1 Sauna Center was his only breakthrough now. He didn't believe that there wasn't a core member of the Jutsai group responsible for it. Yes, Wen Zhao's plan was to make a scene in the Heavenly Palace No. 1 Sauna Center. The police were absolutely prohibited in this place. As long as the door was open normally, it meant that there was absolutely no need to be afraid of the police. The Jutsai group wouldn't let the police have evidence, so even if Wen Xiao made a scene inside, he believed that they wouldn't call the police. In ancient times, there was the great sage equal to heaven who made a scene in the Heavenly Palace. Today, let Wen Xiao pay his respects to the senior and make a scene in the Heavenly Palace. Wen Xiao waved his hand to stop a taxi and directly got into the back row. Heavenly Palace No. 1 Sauna Center. The taxi driver smiled slightly and said, "Although it's a little expensive, it's safe." Hee brother, you don't sound like a local from your accent. You know Heavenly Palace No. 1? Wen Xiao nodded. Of course, Shenzhen is such a famous place. Who doesn't know about it in the country? Sir, please drive faster. I've been holding back my evil fire for many days. If I don't seize the time to vent it, I'll really suffer internal injuries. Haha, it's good to be young. Good kidney and good waist, everything is good. The driver said enviously, and unconsciously stepped on the accelerator. Chapter 1928. After returning to the room from the pool, Soo-yun suddenly had a premonition that something was wrong. He immediately contacted Yi-Fala and tried to use the hotel's internal phone to contact him. However, Yi-Fala dialed the number many times, but no one answered. Obviously, Wen Xiao had left the room. It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. Where could he go? And if he went out at this time, it was even more impossible for him to meet the people in charge of the Jutsai group, right? What is Wen Xiao planning? Soo-yun really didn't understand. If this matter were to be done by Soo-yun would definitely use a particularly useful method to deal with this matter. Apply for the security guard position, and then use his domineering skills to completely convince the security team when he encountered a problem. Then, let the senior leaders of the Jutsai group take a fancy to him. Then he might be transferred to protect their young lady. Then he would get emotionally involved with their young lady, get access to their confidential matters, get evidence, and then, isn't this how it is written in online novels? As a security guard, you can not only pretend to be a pig to eat a tiger, but also get to pick up beautiful women, and also carry out special tasks. In the end, you can even become a strong person who rules the universe if you are not careful. This is such an inspirational route and plot. Why didn't Wen Xiao follow this route? Phew. It seems that Wen Xiao is a person with ideas. He doesn't want to take the cliché route. If he wants to go, he will go his own unusual way. It's so late. Is Wen Xiao going to the Jutsai building to find someone who is working overtime? Soo-yun was very puzzled. What do you think he is thinking? Do you think the people of the Jutsai group have that kind of thing to do in the Jutsai building? Yi-Fala said. Soo-yun, I think your thinking is really confined. It's not as good as Wen Zhao's. The Jutsai building is just a cover for the people of the Jutsai group. Some of the so-called import and export businesses are not very profitable at all. Their main thoughts are not in the Jutsai building at all. That's right. Su-yin nodded. It seemed like she had been bewitched by those web novels. She had been thinking too simply about things. Since the Jutsai group has so many shady businesses, their people must like to go out at night. If there were smuggled goods, they would definitely enter the port at night. Compared to the Jutsai group, not only did they bribe the police to alert them, but they also bribed a lot of the customs officers. Therefore, they would turn a blind eye to their things. In other words, they would simply close their eyes to some things. Could it be that when Xiao had gone straight to the point? He wasn't asking him to investigate or collect anything. Instead, he was asking him to go undercover and obtain concrete evidence. Some things couldn't be used as evidence even if he saw them. He didn't really go to the dock, did he? Su-yin said. Jutsai group won't have any goods arriving today, right? Yi Fara was startled. If Wen Zhao's thoughts were as straightforward as yours, then he definitely wouldn't be able to become a spy. I'm afraid you're the only one who can do such a direct method. After Su-yun's idea was rejected again, he suddenly understood. He slapped his thigh and said, yes, that Heavenly Palace No. 1 sauna center. Su-yun completely understood Wen Zhao's countermeasure. The feasibility of this method was probably very high. Of course, this method also had a lot of risks. I know where he went. Su-yun smiled slightly and said to Yi Fara, this time, my guess is definitely correct. Where did he go? Yi Fara was at a loss. How did Sun Wukong attract the attention of Buddha? Su-yun said proudly. Nonsense, of course, he wreaked havoc in the Heavenly Palace. Yi Fara rolled her eyes at Su-yun. Soon, she was shocked by what she said. Yes, Heavenly Palace No. 1 sauna center. How's the service at Heavenly Palace No. 1? I'm also going to give it a try. Su-yun said. I want to see how Wen Zhao can wreak havoc in the Heavenly Palace. Yi Fara looked up and down at Su-yun with a strange gaze. Do you want to see how Wen Zhao wreaks havoc in the Heavenly Palace? Or do you want to experience how the beautiful technicians in Heavenly Palace No. 1 provide service? Su-yun was stunned. What service can the technicians provide? Of course, it's a health massage. Aha! If the technicians in Heavenly Palace No. 1 also provide health massage, then there's no need to find those young and beautiful ladies around 20 years old with good figures. Yi Fara said. If you really want to do a health massage, I can satisfy you. There's no need for you to waste so much time running so far. Su-yun laughed. What kind of person do you think I am? How can I bear to let you work so hard? Jokes aside, after laughing, Su-yun became serious. He had basically concluded in his heart that Wen Zhao's method was to wreak havoc in the Heavenly Palace, but Heavenly Palace No. 1 was definitely an important industry under the Jutsai group. He heard Qin Wan'er say that just Heavenly Palace No. 1 alone brought a staggering amount of income to the Jutsai group every year. This represented the highest level of fees in the Xinjiang sauna industry. The average minimum consumption of customers would be between 1,500 yuan and 2,000 yuan. Of course, there were some rich people who didn't care at all. It was normal to waste hundreds of thousands of yuan in one night. A health massage would cost 998 yuan for the lowest grade technicians. Even a half-hour fast food would cost 3,998 yuan. With such high fees, the technicians would start work at 3 in the afternoon and work until 3 in the morning. There was also an overnight service from 12 in the evening to 8 in the morning. With such service, of course, it was full of guests. Almost every day, there would be thousands of customers coming in and out of Heavenly Palace No. 1. Many business negotiations and various contracts were signed and settled here. If you excluded the mess inside Heavenly Palace No. 1, it was really a very good business place. Unfortunately, if Heavenly Palace No. 1 didn't have so many services, he believed that there wouldn't be so many contracts signed here. Many business managers and customers would also use Heavenly Palace No. 1 as the best place to make friends. This was no secret in Xinjiang. If a salesperson couldn't go to Heavenly Palace No. 1 with customers to take a sauna and play games with the technicians, then he wasn't a good salesperson. I'm worried. I'm really worried. Su-yin expressed his worries. After all, that place was a signboard of the Jutsai group. Although Wen Xiao wreaking havoc in the Jutsai group's signboard could quickly get attention, he might also encounter more dangerous difficulties than they imagined. If you're worried, then go, Yi Fara said. But I can tell you, Su Yin, the technicians who often do healthcare for different people really can't be touched. If you get infected, you'll be in trouble. Hearing this, Su Yin felt goosebumps all over his body. It couldn't be helped. He had serious mental mysophobia. When he thought about how these technicians usually treated everyone like that, he would feel uncomfortable all over. Seeing Su Yin's goosebumps all over, Yi Fara smiled. Don't worry, it's not that serious. Heavenly Palace No. 1 will send people to their door every half a month to give their technicians a comprehensive physical examination, especially in that area. Those who are sick will definitely be fired. Su Yin smiled slightly. Don't scare me. My little heart really can't take it. I'm just reminding you kindly. If you really can't control yourself, then remember to take safety measures. No matter what, safety first. A woman with social experience like Yi Fara understood men too well. Su Yin really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You really don't have to worry about this. I'm going. If there's a situation, contact me immediately. Yi Fara waved her hand and signaled Su Yin to go quickly. Heavenly Palace No. 1 is very busy. If you don't go now, the technicians will be booked for the entire night. You won't have a chance. Su Yin grimaced and said, I'll just take a sauna. It's not like I can't take a bath without a technician. Don't worry, it's also quite good without a technician. At least I don't have to worry about not being able to control myself. You really treat Heavenly Palace No. 1 as a bathhouse. Yi Fara shook her head helplessly. Go quickly. I'm worried that Wen Xiao has already made a scene inside. If that's the case, you won't be able to go in. They'll definitely seal the place. This really couldn't be faked. Su Yin nodded and quickly left. If the place was sealed and he couldn't go in, he wouldn't have a chance to help Wen Xiao, who was facing danger inside. Chapter 1929. Su Yin drove straight to the Heavenly Palace No. 1 Sauna Center. When he arrived at the parking lot outside the resplendent sauna center, he could imagine how popular it would be. Middle-class luxury cars such as Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, and so on were parked everywhere. Of course, there were also cars such as ordinary sedans. Because there were so many cars in the parking lot, Su Yin even spent a few minutes finding a parking space. Even a pig's brain would know that there was something wrong with such a busy sauna center. Just look at the luxury cars outside, which were easily worth millions. If people who could afford such cars really liked saunas, they would have built a sauna room in their own home. Why would they come out every day? It was so troublesome and tiring. Anyway, they were rich. Often, what these people wanted was not the feeling of sauna, but the pleasure of a technician performing a full set of skills on them. After all, this kind of feeling could not be brought to them even by their mistresses. The feeling of being served wholeheartedly could only be found in such a high-end sauna center. Moreover, the face-to-face talks here were more direct. It was an extremely simple transaction without any emotions. Nowadays, rich people seem to be more and more inclined to this kind of straightforward transaction. As soon as Su Yin parked his car, a receptionist hurried forward to open the door for Su Yin and respectfully invited Su Yin to get out of the car. Obviously, Su Yin's Porsche was also a first-class luxury car in the parking lot. This was true, because the rich people who came to the sauna center had not reached the point where they could afford Bentleys and Rolls-Royces. And when they reached the point where they were really rich, they really became social public figures. Social public figures needed to be low-key and pay attention to their influence. Think about it, if you saw Ma or Su's car at the entrance of a sauna center, you would be in the headlines the next day. Sir, how many people are you? Just me. Don't be polite. I'll help myself. Su Yin locked the door and went straight to the lobby. At the entrance of the lobby, there were 6 beautiful receptionists. They welcomed Su Yin in unison, which really startled Su Yin. Then the customer manager of the Heavenly Palace No. 1 Sauna Center came up to Su Yin and greeted him warmly, as if he were an old friend who had not seen him for a long time. The account managers in this kind of place had a good memory, because they needed to remember what kind of customers were not short of money. Brother, is this your first time here? Are you on a business trip to Xinjiang? The manager chuckled and said, don't worry. You can treat our place as your own home. You can do whatever you want and feel as comfortable as you want. Su Yun nodded and pretended that he was not Huaxia. He pressed his tongue against his lower teeth and said stiffly, I used to do business in Xiguan in Guangshan, Huaxia, and I liked the sauna there. Now that I've expanded my business here, I don't know how the sauna in Xinjiang is like. When the manager heard that he was not from Huaxia, he knew that this must be a big fat piece of meat. However, he said that he often played in Xiguan, so he was obviously a master. Over there was the head of the sauna in Huaxia. Such a person was probably even more picky. If he wanted to keep such a customer, he had to find him a beautiful and well-behaved one. Don't worry, brother. I'll definitely make you feel at home. The manager said. Then I'll take you to get a room now. After choosing a technician, you can enjoy our Sheng-style sauna here. Su Yun quickly entered the elevator under the guidance of the manager. The elevator stopped on the 4th floor. After exiting the elevator, Su Yun saw that the place was decorated like a hotel room. The decoration of the Heavenly Palace No. 1 Sauna Center was actually no different from a hotel room, except that the rooms were equipped with sauna rooms. However, the utilization of the sauna rooms was really not that high. The guests who came here were not really here for the sauna. Everyone knew what kind of transaction they were here for. Su Yun was led into a room by the manager. The layout of the room was very simple. On the left side of the door was a sauna room, in the middle of the room was a big bed, and on the right side was a space surrounded by curtains. Just when Su Yun was wondering what kind of configuration this space was, the manager spoke into the walkie-talkie. He told the technician the room number, and asked the technician to let the customer choose. 2 minutes later, the space covered by curtains suddenly lit up. Su Yun was stunned. It seemed that there was really something fishy about this place. At this moment, the manager suddenly opened the curtains. This space was actually a transparent glass space, and inside the space appeared a girl about 25 years old. She had a beautiful face and a very good figure. Her waist was like a willow, but her chest was unusually full. It even made people feel that she could fall down at any time when she walked. The girl made a few seductive gestures in front of Su Yun. Every movement was the kind that could make people burn. The manager smiled and introduced to Su Yun. This is the ace beauty of Heavenly Palace No. 1, number 18 Ting Ting. She is only 23 years old this year. She is good at talking. As for the price, money is not a problem. Su Yun didn't even think about it. He didn't really come here to look for a girl. He just wanted to find someone to waste time here, and listen to when Xiao would make a big fuss. How long does this service last? Brother, I can tell that you are a veteran. I will definitely recommend the full set to you. You will definitely feel bored if it is fast food. The manager smiled. Compared to fast food, the full set was definitely more profitable. Moreover, these beautiful girls preferred to do the full set, so they would get more commission. Su Yun nodded. Okay. If I don't have enough fun, can I add any time? Of course you can. At any time. And if you feel that her service is not good, you can ask for a replacement service at any time. Our service principle is to let customers enjoy the service of God. The manager said confidently. Su Yun said with satisfaction. Okay, she will do. Okay. The manager pulled the curtains and the lights inside were turned off. The technician didn't come out from inside. 2 minutes later, he knocked on the door and came in. At this time, the manager left in a hurry. It seemed that there was a secret passage inside. Su Yun smiled. No wonder the police couldn't find it even if they wanted to. The interior design was definitely done by an expert. Su Yun wanted to go in and see what it was like inside. It was like a completely different world. Hello, sir. I am number 18 Ting Ting. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve you. This small voice was so delicate that it made Su Yun's body go numb. Although Su Yun's mind was focused on the outside world, the current situation really made him a little distracted. No wonder Yi Fala reminded him. Ordinary people really couldn't control themselves. At this time, the girl suddenly opened the small bag she carried with her and took out many sets of clothes. There were sailor outfits, nurse outfits, student outfits, catwoman outfits. This made Su-yin confused. Sir, which theme do you prefer? I can act as anything, the girl said gently. Su-yin swallowed a mouthful of saliva. No need. I prefer to act as myself. Sir, you really have good taste, the girl said shyly. Then I will serve you like this. As she spoke, the girl took off half of her clothes and lifted up her short skirt. I want to rest for a while. Su-yin, how about this, you go and get some water first. I want to take a bath later. It's okay, you don't have to worry about your time. I won't mistreat you. With Su-yin's words, the girl was relieved. Actually, it was okay to serve such a handsome guy. Even if she was mistreated a little, it was really nothing. When the girl went to get some water, she was puzzled. Such a handsome guy. There would definitely be many girls outside who would take the initiative to send themselves to him. If it was her, if such a handsome guy asked to go on a date with her outside, she would definitely be willing. She would really be willing and would be very happy. Chapter 1930. Su-yin had been in the Heavenly Palace No. 1 sauna center for at least 15 minutes. If Wen Xiao had arrived before him, then he must have arrived earlier than him. Shouldn't he have made a fuss by now? Su-yin lay on the big bed outside and pondered. Could it be that this guy had already fallen for it? Had he fallen into the high-end service here? Don't just focus on enjoying yourself and forget about proper business. He was no longer the mercenary he used to be. He had once again become a person with the status of a national official. He had to be able to withstand the temptation and seduction of this kind of thing. At this time, Na Tingting had already prepared the hot water for Su-yin. She also took off her coat and stood directly in front of Su-yin. Su-yin was stunned. If this continued, he would lose his integrity. Brother, the water is ready for you. Let me help you take off your clothes. With that, the girl walked toward Su-yin. Su-yin hurriedly said, You'd better introduce me to what kind of services you have here first. Let me see if it's comprehensive. Comprehensive, very comprehensive. The girl walked to Su-yin's side and began to blow air into Su-yin's ear. Brother, if you go to the sauna first, I'll accompany you to the emperor's bath. Then I'll give you a tour of the world, and then, go sit over there and talk slowly. We're not in a hurry. If there's not enough time, I'll give you more time. Su-yin, you'll pay less. The girl was a little puzzled. She thought that she was still very charming. She had a good figure and good looks. Moreover, she had some plastic surgery on her body. Her breasts and buttocks were all raised. There were also some pink surgeries on other parts of her body. She was definitely able to make men completely unable to control themselves. If it was a high-priced investment on her body, she wouldn't be able to get the full 1998 price. There weren't many girls like her in the Heavenly Palace No. 1 sauna center. They could be counted with 2 hands. Those who were more expensive than her were even rarer. Brother, do you think I'm not pretty enough? Seeing Su-yin's hesitation, the girl began to doubt her own charm. It's true. This is your first time here. If you come here a few more times, you'll know that I'm very good. No, I didn't say that you're not good. You're very good, really very good. Su-yin said in his heart. This girl has such good conditions, what can't she do? If he didn't know the relationship between the Heavenly Palace No. 1 sauna center and the Jutsai group, Su-yin really wanted to persuade the girl. However, he couldn't say these words now. Saying these words would definitely arouse suspicion. A man who came to a place where he did this kind of thing, but didn't do it would make anyone suspicious. Moreover, Su-yin could see that the girl's expression was somewhat complicated. Obviously, if her service didn't meet the customer's satisfaction, she was likely to be punished. Therefore, she had a certain amount of worry. This kind of worry was the kind that didn't know what to do. I'm a slow warm-up person. Don't be afraid. I'm very sure of your service. I'll still look for you in the future. Su-yin comforted the girl. How about this? You dance first and let me warm up. Don't worry, I'll be satisfied with all your services. The worried look on the girl's face receded. Seeing that Soo-Yun really didn't have any malicious intentions, she still started gently. Then I'll show you the wild dance of the golden snake. And come on, dance. I like to watch people dance. Soo-Yun thought, you should dance for an hour. He didn't believe that Wen Xiao wouldn't do anything after an hour. If the uproar in heaven didn't play for an hour, he would definitely make a mistaken judgment if he paid the money and left. The girl began to dance with all her might. In order to express her interest in dancing, Soo-Yun had to watch her without blinking. From time to time, he had to comment and correct her from time to time. In short, he wanted the girl to keep dancing. This dance lasted for half an hour. The girl was tired from dancing, but Soo-Yun didn't ask her to stop. It had to be said that this work was really more tiring than the others. Although the wild dance of the golden snake was also a part of the full set, the average person would only watch it for 3 to 5 minutes. How could there be an audience like Soo-Yun who still let the girl dance after half an hour? Soo-Yun was definitely a kind person. If she danced, she could lose weight and keep fit. If she was healthy, she could also work for a few more years, benefiting the bachelors and those rich little bosses. The customer was God. This was the absolute requirement for the technicians in Heavenly Palace No. 1 Sauna Center. So if the customer didn't want to stop, then she couldn't stop. The girl could only continue dancing. Perhaps neither Soo-Yun nor Wen Xiao would have thought that they were only one room apart. Wen Xiao was looking for an excuse to fall out with the technician, so he really wanted to make the act real. Wen Xiao was trying his best to make the technician fall out with him, but he really didn't expect the technician to be so patient. Wen Xiao had done a lot of excessive behavior, but the technician actually endured it. From this point, it could be seen that Heavenly Palace No. 1 had control over these girls. Because the girl didn't dare to do anything disrespectful to Wen Xiao was embarrassed to do something bad again. It seemed that he had to use his trump card. Wen Xiao said sorry to the girl in his heart. In the case of vigorous activity, he shook off his sunglasses and then gave the girl a slap with all his strength. Padash! This slap was really heavy, and the girl's face swelled up in an instant. With this slap, the girl would definitely not be able to receive guests tonight. Maybe the swelling wouldn't go down tomorrow or the day after, and she would be too ashamed to see guests. It was precisely because of this that Heavenly Palace No. 1 had a clear rule. The customers could do whatever they wanted, but they couldn't hit people. As long as they hit people, they would definitely stand up for the technician and punish the customer accordingly. After Wen Xiao slapped the girl, he kicked the girl out of the bed, picked up his glasses and began to put on his clothes and scolded. What the hell? You want to pay for this kind of service? Do you know how much my glasses cost? Can you afford it? Obviously, the glasses were fine. There was a carpet on the floor, so there was no need to worry about anything falling. Even if someone fell, it wouldn't hurt. Wen Zhao's dirty tricks had already made the girl angry, but her job was to make the customers happy, so she didn't dare to resist. Even if she resisted, the supervisor wouldn't stand on her side, so she endured it. But now that Wen Xiao hit her, she had a reason, and the evidence was her swollen face. There was no way to continue. She had to find the supervisor to clarify the matter. It wasn't that she didn't want to serve, but this customer was too difficult to serve. Hitting a technician was prohibited in Heavenly Palace No. 1. My service is over. You'd better not touch me again. The girl yelled at Wen Xiao, then quickly found a button on the lower left side of the bed and pressed it. Wen Xiao knew that she was calling for help. Finally, she called for help. He had waited for too long. You must pay the price for slapping me. The girl was really angry. She couldn't wait to eat Wen Xiao alive. This kind of man was too hateful. He came out to have fun, but he still had to do such barbaric and violent acts. Wen Xiao nodded. Okay, then let me see what price you want me to pay. Generally speaking, this kind of place dealt with things mainly by losing money. As long as you were willing to pay, anything could be solved. Even if you killed a technician and slapped $1 million in front of the supervisor, the matter would be settled. But as long as you didn't pay, the matter could be big or small. If they were ruthless, they would dare to chop off your hand. If they were serious, They would dare to take your life. Someone who could handle such a big event could handle the people who came to play in his place. It was that simple. People who couldn't handle wouldn't come to his place to play, so there was no need to worry about people they couldn't afford to offend. Don't be so arrogant. There will be a time when you cry. Once a woman was really anxious, she would definitely be more ruthless than a man. Now the girl's face was burning with pain. If she could really chop off Wen Zhao's hand, she really wanted to chop it off. Of course, she also knew that she couldn't do anything before the supervisor made a decision. If the customer was willing to pay enough money, it didn't need to be much. 30,000 yuan fell to the ground, and the supervisor dared to let the customer continue to slap her. So before everything was settled, she could only say a few harsh words to threaten the customer and vent the anger in her heart. Chapter 1931. Just after the girl pressed the button under the bed, someone quickly rushed up. A gentle-looking man wearing glasses was obviously the person in charge of this place, and he didn't come alone. Beside him was a woman of about 35 years old, who should be the mother of these technicians. Behind these two people who seemed to have some authority, stood two very strong men. These two people were obviously hired thugs in this bath center. It could be seen from their clothes that they were wearing sportswear from head to toe. They didn't look like white-collar workers at all. Nowadays, it was too easy to distinguish a person's identity. They wore simple and casual clothes, but the quality of their clothes was the best. They were definitely boss level. Suits, leather shoes, and a clean shirt usually belonged to a manager. Sportswear, sports shoes, a tight t-shirt, and a slim jacket were basically unemployed. Of course, there were some who weren't. Everything was not so absolute. Many web writers who wrote novels also wore sportswear and sports shoes, although the identity of these people was no different from unemployed. Seeing these people, the girl quickly ran to the 35-year-old woman's side, pointed at her swollen face, and began to cry. People in this line of work had seen all kinds of customers. This was just a slap. There was once a customer who broke several ribs with a kick. This was a very normal thing, because there were always some people in this society who felt that they had to be the boss if they paid. Because they were especially arrogant when they made money. They felt that others should also be arrogant when they made money. Such people were really not rare. Even if you ate skewers at a roadside stall, you could meet such people who pretended to be the boss. They ordered a large bottle of ginseng draft beer that cost 3 yuan, a plate of peanuts and edamame, and 10 skewers. If these 10 skewers were served slowly, they could roar to death at the stall owner. The total cost was less than 30 or 50 yuan, and they still pretended to be the boss. Think about it, even those poor people could be so pretentious. Coming to this Heavenly Palace No. 1 sauna center to play fast food cost 300 or 500 yuan. Some of these people must be pretentious. They didn't treat the technicians as human beings, and they were everywhere. However, as time passed, everyone knew that this Heavenly Palace No. 1 sauna center was not a place where people could behave atrociously casually. Gradually, no one dared to behave atrociously here. The customers who had behaved atrociously here before didn't dare to come again, because they knew that they kicked a hard stone, and were not qualified to act atrociously. Take the technicians here for example. Some of them could call 30 or 50 people to cripple them with a phone call. Not to mention the people who could afford this place. These technicians were afraid that they would be beaten every day because they didn't serve the customers well. How capable could these people be? How could these people know? Except for the year when Heavenly Palace No. 1 was first opened, some people would cause trouble here. Now many years had passed, and no one dared to cause trouble here. No one was stupid. They didn't want to break an arm or a leg. If they broke a third leg, they would be crippled for the rest of their lives. Sir, we have a written rule here that you can't beat the technicians. I believe that when our account manager brought you here, he has already told you that if you are not satisfied with anything, you can contact us. We can help you change the technicians at any time, but in any case, no matter what the reason is, you can't beat them. The person in charge with glasses spoke in a very feminine way. Maybe it was because he had stayed in this kind of place with many women for a long time. Wen Xiao lit a cigarette and didn't speak. He just looked at the person in charge with a smile. He knew with his toes that such a small matter would not alarm the big official, who really had the final say. The person in charge with glasses saw that Wen Xiao didn't react at all and continued. As long as you don't beat her, you can directly complain to us if her service is not good. We will definitely help you solve the problem you want to solve at the first time. But if you beat her, then it's your fault. Do you understand what I mean? Don't King you. I feel that it's pretentious. Wen Xiao spat. Just say it directly. What do you want to do? I don't listen to those nonsense. These glasses are my treasure. I don't take them off when I come out to take a bath in the sauna. Do you think I will let it go if she beat me? Hearing Wen Xiao say this, the person in charge with glasses was a little speechless. Sir, glasses are just glasses after all. How can they be the same as a person? You didn't break your glasses, but you broke our technician's glasses. We are all people who wear glasses. Why is it so difficult for me to communicate with you? Just say it directly. How do you want to settle this? Wen Xiao slammed the table with a bang. At this time, the two thugs began to whisper to the person in charge with glasses. It seemed that they wanted to take action. Sir, since we can't explain this matter clearly, then fine, I won't pursue any responsibility. For this matter, you can directly compensate the technician with 8,000 yuan to make up for the lost time of work for the past 3 days. The person in charge with glasses said directly. 8,000 yuan? Loss of work? Wen Xiao laughed immediately. I thought you came up to apologize to me and ask me not to be angry. Logically speaking, I came here to have fun and relax. In the end, I didn't do anything and I have to compensate? I haven't had my fun yet. Today's bill isn't even waived. It's our negligence that you didn't have fun. We will waive the bill. You don't have to pay anything today. I said, don't say you. I can't stand it. Wen Xiao glared. Okay, we will waive the bill. You just have to pay the 8,000 yuan loss of work. Everything is over. We will definitely not pursue any responsibility. The manager with glasses said again. Wen Xiao waved his hand. I think you should pursue it. I also want to see what responsibility I have. Why don't we call the police and let the police be the judge? Are you deliberately looking for trouble? If you want to die, say it clearly. The two thugs began to rub their fists and were eager to fight. Wen Xiao could now see that this was called using peaceful means before resorting to force. As long as he paid, nothing would be a problem. If he didn't want to pay, then sorry, he would just use his fists. It was impossible to let him leave here easily. If it were someone else, they might be afraid, but Wen Xiao wasn't. Wen Xiao wanted this kind of effect. He wanted the other party to be completely enraged. Only then would he be able to play tricks in this small space. I really want to find trouble. What can you do to me? Wen Zhao's provocation was too straightforward. He didn't put the two strong thugs in his eyes at all. This also thoroughly angered the two thugs. The two of them almost took off their clothes at the same time. The person in charge with glasses opened his hands and blocked the two thugs behind him. He reminded Wen Xiao for the last time. Sir, you'd better think clearly. I can tell you very responsibly that if you really want to go against us, we will definitely make you regret it. Wen Xiao nodded. It's a pity. In my life, I haven't done anything that I regret. If you can really make me regret, I really want to thank you for giving me a chance to regret. Really, what I said is true. Come on, let me regret it. The person in charge with glasses saw that Wen Xiao was stubborn. He really had no other way. They opened the bathing center not to beat people, but to make money. So as long as they had money, all problems could be solved. But if they didn't pay, it didn't make any sense to solve the problem. Instead, the two thugs would be exhausted. Forget it. Since this guy was so stubborn, he couldn't be blamed for being ruthless. Beat him. Beat him to death. Beat him until he was crippled. Let him know that this place was not a place where he could behave atrociously. How is it? Haven't you thought about how to make me regret it? Wen Xiao couldn't wait. He was determined to cause trouble in Heavenly Palace today. He wanted to see how much tolerance the real backbone of Jutsai Group had, and when he would show up. At this time, Heavenly Palace number 1 hadn't sealed off the area yet. For their thugs, this little thing was a piece of cake. They could solve it in minutes. There was no need to seal off the area at all. Of course, this was just the current thought of these two thugs. They soon regretted their idea. This kind of overconfidence definitely made them do something that they would regret. Wen Xiao still didn't get the chance to regret what he wanted. Chapter 1932. The two burly men suddenly made their move. They jumped up high and rushed directly at Wen Xiao like hungry tigers pouncing on their prey. Wen Xiao was not to be trifled with. He welcomed the incoming man with a kick. This high kick was completely beyond the imagination of the two burly men. The burly man who pounced too hard hit Wen Xiao's foot with his face. Wen Xiao suddenly exerted force with his knee, and the force kicked out along his calf. The burly man didn't have time to swing his fist out at all. His whole body flew straight up. When he fell heavily to the ground, his head slammed into the wall behind him. After a muffled bang, his whole body was motionless. He fell directly to the ground, and his brain went into complete shock. The other man saw that his brother didn't even have a chance to make a move before he was knocked down. He was a little confused for a while. Of course, this feeling was only for a while. After all, for professional thugs like them, even if they saw the arms of the people around them being cut off, they still had to do it when it was time to do it. Otherwise, why would the boss spend so much money on you every month? Could it be that it was just to watch? An army was trained for 1,000 days to be used in a single moment. Nothing happened in Tiangong number 1 for a year. Now that something happened and they couldn't handle it, then they really couldn't make a living in this industry in the future. No one would give them a price. This was society, and it was realistic. It was not easy to do any job. The second burly man sighed in his heart. He picked up a chair next to him and swung it at Wen Xiao desperately. If he couldn't win in close combat, then he would use his weapon. These thugs were all ruthless characters. They were not afraid of killing people. Otherwise, how could they get so much money every month in Tiangong number 1? Boom. This swing hit nothing. Wen Xiao dodged the opponent's swift and violent attack with a sidestep. For Wen Xiao, this was really an understatement. There wasn't even the slightest bit of nervousness on his face. It was as if he was doing something very ordinary. Avoiding this level of attack really didn't give Wen Xiao any sense of superiority. He suddenly slapped the other party in the face. "You are so slow, and you want to fight with me?" Without waiting for the other party to refute, Wen Xiao raised his knee and gave a heavy blow. Before the other party could speak, saliva flowed out of his mouth. It hurts. It was a heart-wrenching pain, as if all his internal organs had been completely destroyed by Wen Xiao's knee. "You are the manager, right?" Wen Xiao glanced at the gentleman with glasses. "You are looking for someone to fight with me, right? Is it because you don't want me as a regular customer anymore?" Did he think that the customer was no longer God? "You don't want to open this sauna center anymore, do you?" When the person in charge saw this, he was a little overwhelmed. In the past, he had never seen anyone who could take down these two fierce brothers so easily. Now, even if they fought, they couldn't beat him, and the technician's face couldn't be recovered. More importantly, the other party didn't intend to pay any compensation at all. They didn't intend to pay a single cent. "How dare you hit people in Heavenly Palace 1? I think you're really tired of living. Do you know who opened our sauna center?" Unlike the person in charge with glasses, the 35-year-old chicken mommy standing next to him was anxious and directly shouted at Wen Xiao. Wen Xiao was too lazy to care about her. This kind of person was the most hateful. They were both women. She should know the consequences of girls in this industry, but instead of advising, she encouraged and led the development of this industry. This kind of person was of course hateful, and it made people gnash their teeth in hatred. "What does it have to do with you, old woman? Get lost. You should be able to see that I'm not the kind of person who doesn't hit women." Wen Xiao glared at the chicken mommy. Nonsense. Everyone could see that the technician's face was still swollen. Speaking of which, this Wen Xiao was really ruthless. He was really willing to hit her. But there was really no other way. Wen Xiao had to hit her. If he didn't hit her hard enough, the girl would think that he was flirting with her. So if he wanted to hit her, he had to hit her hard. The chicken mommy was generally not a good-tempered person, because she needed a certain aura to suppress the willfulness of ordinary girls. She was really not afraid of anything, but facing this fiendish Wen Xiao today, she really couldn't muster up that shrewish spirit of hers. Everyone was afraid of being hit. Thinking about this customer's heavy slap on her face, she really didn't have the face to see anyone. The person in charge with glasses was really calm. He tried to reason with Wen Xiao. "Friend, I can see that you're not a local, and it's your first time here. I can understand that you think you're very powerful, so you don't need to be afraid of us. But I also advise you that a strong dragon can't suppress a local snake. If you want to take advantage of our place and leave, it's impossible. I'm really not threatening you, and I'm really not bluffing you. I've given you a chance. I hope you won't continue to force me." With a clang, Wen Xiao picked up the chair that had just fallen beside him. The chair heavily smashed onto the refined, bespectacled man's body. The man in glasses quickly blocked with both hands. But as he had never fought before, he was still in pain from the hit. His hands were trembling. "You better not try to challenge our bottom line." The refined glasses man was angry. Perhaps it had been a long time since someone dared to provoke him like this. Wen Xiao wanted to see what their bottom line was. Clang! The refined glasses man was grabbed by the neck by Wen Xiao and directly pressed against the wall. "Let's see what can you do to me with your weak body." Wen Xiao sneered. At this time, the technician and the chicken mommy screamed and ran out of the room. This time, the commotion finally became a little louder. Su Yun, who was one room away, naturally heard the noise outside. The girl who was still dancing like a golden snake was also stunned. In this place, which had not caused any trouble for more than a year, the chicken mommy's voice definitely surprised her. Su Yun frowned slightly and said, "What's the situation? Your place seems to be quite chaotic. Can't the boss control it?" The girl looked at the door blankly and shook her head. "Impossible. Our boss is definitely someone who can control Xinjiang. Almost no one dares to cause trouble in our sauna center. That's good. No one has caused trouble before. Today, the one who caused trouble was definitely Wen Xiao. Make trouble, the bigger the better," Su Yun thought in his heart. "Brother, don't worry. Even if someone causes trouble, we will quickly deal with it here. We will play by ourselves. Don't worry." The girl said, "Brother, I've been dancing for so long. Why don't I move on to the next project?" Su Yun pointed in the direction of the door. "Wait, I'd better listen to what's going on outside. If things get out of hand, I won't even have a chance to pull up my pants." The girl did not say anything. After all, it was the first time he came here to play. It was normal for him to be worried. If it was an old acquaintance, he would definitely not be worried. "Brother, it's okay. It will be fine." The chicken mommy's scream directly alarmed all the people who were watching the scene. Because no one knew what was going on, Tiangong No. 1 quickly sealed the place. The people outside were not allowed to enter, but the people inside could not go out either. Soon, more than a dozen strong thugs rushed to the crime scene. The sound in the corridor was noisy, and Su Yun could hear it clearly. "No, I'm really worried about this." As Su Yun spoke, he got up and walked to the door. The girl wanted to stop him, but she could not. Su Yun opened the door and saw more than a dozen people in black t-shirts in the corridor. Everyone had an unfriendly look on their faces. Seeing that a guest opened the door, the nearest thug directly stepped forward and wanted to close the door. "Brother, you play by yourself. Don't worry, it's just a small matter. We will quickly deal with it." Su Yun's eyes were sharp. He immediately observed the situation of these people. Obviously, the people who came this time really wanted to show the troublemakers who were in charge. Su Yun even saw a bulge in the back of the leader's waist. It was obviously a pistol. "Is it really okay?" "Su Yun, why do I feel like something big is going to happen? If something happens, it will only happen to those who want to cause trouble. It will definitely not affect our other guests. Don't worry," the thug in black said as he forced Su Yun to close the door. Su Yun did not want to arouse suspicion, so he obediently let the thug in black close the door. You're tuning into the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.